Howdy, friends. Welcome to FFG Worlds, Legend of the Five Rings. My name is Chris Potterf. I'm here with Anil, better known as Mind's Desire, online. So we've got a really fun day planned. We've already got a good matchup, round one, set up at the table. We've got Brad Emon, the Gen Con winner of this year, playing Crane against Jasper Mangus, right?
Yeah, Jasper Mangus out of the Ohio region.
Playing Dragon, Seeker of Air, something akin to, similar to the Dragon decks that we saw last year, or as close that we can get to that kind of deck style,
the addition of Sharpened Tsuruhashi has really allowed Dragon, and Nisha Master being let out of jail, has really allowed Dragon to maintain some competitiveness.
So we see that Brad is on Seeker of Void Crane, right? It's my understanding that this is kind of a poor matchup for Dragon. The Crane deck basically is just able to do the same things that the Dragon deck wants to, but better and bigger, right?
Yeah, so basically what you're going to see is you're going to see both players buying a lot, about a single character each turn, putting a lot of fate on the characters, and then using those characters to last with attachments.
Yeah.
And kind of just both players are going to fight for board position and accrue value. Crane just kind of does a little bit better. Their province does a little bit better. Magistrate Station is going to be a really big key in the matchup.
Sure, as it always is.
Yeah, where like if Dragon flips it over and breaks it immediately, the game will be a lot closer, and if they don't, they're going to die.
Right.
So we'll see how that works out. A big thing that for Jasper is going to be covert.
Sure.
Tattoo Wanderer and Mitsu are really big. Crane does not play Cloud the Mind at the moment, or generally doesn't.
But they are running a lot of movement tech to bring them back in, right? So the covert may not end up being that impactful.
So that depends on if Brad is playing the like the Hawk Tattoo.
Sure.
That some Crane players are playing. Formal Invitation, really big right now. So that's something to keep in mind on political conflicts. And then also, you just got to really worry about T-House. T-House is really important in the matchup.
Sure.
The ability to bounce Seal of the Dragon.
To turn off Void Fist.
Yeah, to drop Void Fist, or maybe Finger of Jade.
Yeah. Is
really good tempo.
All right. So are you jumping over into the games now, or? All right. So with Seeker of Void, one thing I've always liked about Dragon is just the province restoration of balance. And even after it got errataed, it's still impactful, right? But with Crane, you do kind of have this issue where they can just dump their entire hand because a lot of it is just attachments they want to put on the table anyway.
Out of Seeker of Void specifically, you play a lot more attachments than you do out of, say, Keeper of Air.
Sure.
The attachment, A New Name, is the big draw to playing the Void role. It's for those who don't know, it's a card from this. Just throw 3 or 4 attachments on that character or on some of your characters and then break it.
We're getting some feedback from the Twitch stream that the sound went. Oh, okay. All right, we're just going to keep talking. So we've got opening hand-wise for Jasper.
Looks like a Finger of Jade, a Void Fist, a Seal, and a Skirmisher.
Sure.
Interesting that he's playing Skirmishers. I wonder what his full splash is then.
Well, normally it's just what, like Reprieve?
You'll have to Reprieve and Sharpen Tsuruhashi, because the Tsuruhashi is 2 influence. So that's 9 influence on Reprieve. Is he playing Keeper of Water?
No, I mean, I saw Air.
Okay. Is he just not playing all the Tsuruhashis that he could be?
I mean, I guess that would mean...
Is he not playing 3 Reprieves?
I wonder if he's just not playing Knight and Master.
I think I saw one when he was shuffling, at least a Tsuruhashi.
Okay.
Yes, I just saw one. Interesting. I'm very curious as to what his full splash is.
We should see. And then with Brad, I didn't exactly get a good look at Brad's hand. I think I saw like just some random attachments to start.
I think I saw a fan, and that's the only attachment that I saw. So we see the flops here. Oh, it looks like Jasper's going first, as denoted by the Yokuni there.
Yes.
So we're going to see Raitsugu. Yep, probably 3 Fate into a pass from Jasper. So Raitsugu, a little bit awkward against Crane because his duel does allow them to use their stronghold.
Yeah.
And then we see Brad with a kind of a small weenie start, which is a little bit annoying against Red Sugu. Like, buying this Whisper, and then he also buys the Callow is... Did he fade that Callow? It looks like he did.
Yeah, he faded both of his characters.
Well, so fading the Whisper is really awkward here, because are you just going to rumble in and let Red Sugu, like, shave that fade off?
I don't know. I mean... Considering Brad's flop, I almost just would have hard passed, but I know that is kind of hard out of Crane SOV. They don't run a ton of conflict characters. But
I mean, I think you just like accept that you'll lose a province,
sure, and
even if it's Magistrate Station, and then open up next turn with a ton of fate, and
your normal 3-drop that you want to buy or whatever,
or
right?
your Toshimoku, Kaizen, Challenger. Like, you just have so many Kawanin. Yeah. There's just so many characters you want to buy that you should be able to leverage all that fate. So it looks like I saw a Hurricane Punch. So Jasper's Seal of the Dragons aren't going to stick on this Red Sugu, so he might want to double Seal before doing anything. Because otherwise, if he puts Seal down and Brad Tea houses it, all these monk-specific cards are not going to be able to be played this turn. Because, like, this Red Sugu is not going anywhere, right? He put 4 fate on it, actually. He started, because he has 1 fate right now in his Stronghold.
Sure. Now, I have to imagine that we'll just see a pass attack.
I would not attack if I was Jasper, right?
Yeah.
It's just like too risky. What if you hit Shameful and you get Noble sacked?
Well, I guess at the very least you're forcing Brad to waste a fate on the character.
Yeah, I guess his Calla Delegate fate, his fated Calla Delegate is awkward.
Yeah, see, you're already making the Crane player play inefficiently, you know?
So we have Military Void coming in with the Calla Delegate, just a scout attack. I probably wouldn't block, and then I would let Brad play a card if he wanted to.
Sure.
Brad would specifically have to play a Katana or a non-kicked Bonsai, and then you could potentially make him break this Upholding Authority.
Do you think it's too risky to pass here? Like, if you go no defense pass for Jasper, right? Do you want to actually just play a weapon here to ensure the break?
No. I would say no defense pass, and I would just let him know that Upholding Authority is there. The thing is, like, in this matchup, your opponent has to break Upholding or Rusta.
I just think that it's easier as Crane to break Restoration of Balance, right?
Sure.
Like, he will never have to go back to this UA, and then later down the road, whenever he plays all of his attachments, he can just break Restoration of Balance at
So the
no
problem
cost.
is that, like, in an opening hand, like, unless your opponent unless you spike something, right? Like, it looks like Brad happens to have 3 formal invitations in his hand. So, like, it obviously would be good in this situation because we can see the hands.
Sure.
But, like, as a player, in a 9-card hand, generally speaking, you don't see that many pairs.
Yeah.
And if it is a pair that's not an event, you can just play one, right? And then you take 1 card for a Void Ring. It's, it's not that great. And if you play a card to make them break, you're actually not even going up cards, right?
I mean, I think that in a 40-card deck, it's reasonable to expect at least 2 of something, but he's just going to do it anyway.
So it looks like this is going to be a non-kicked Bonsai. Oh, he is going to just kick a Bonsai.
Yeah.
He's just going to lose all his formal. He can't do that.
Yeah.
That card has text. You literally can't be doing these.
Yeah. So the
formal invitation
requires 2 glory to be able to attach. So these will have to go back to his hand.
Yep.
So we will need a judge to. We'll need Sar to point.
Yeah,
that
someone
out.
needs to catch this. Looks like both these formal invitations need to go back into his hand
before the break happens.
Yes.
So we need to roll this back before the break.
Okay. Looks like they're doing it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Perfect. Yeah. So he's just gonna. So I think Brad broke this province without realizing what was gonna happen. And then Jasper discarded nothing? Did they not kick the Bonsai?
I don't currently know what's going on.
Did they just walk back the kick on the Bonsai then?
Well, no. I mean,
Yeah, it looks like
Yeah.
they walked back the kick on the Bonsai, right? Sorry, for those who don't know, kicker is a term that basically just means an additional effect for cost. So Bonsai, when we say like kick a Bonsai, it means that you paid the honor.
Yeah. That is kind of awkward though, because Jasper just saw all of Brad's hand.
Yeah, I mean, so basically, Brad made an illegal play and then got punished somewhat for it, right?
Sure.
So I guess it's like it works out.
It works out.
So Jasper looks like he's ready to get aggressive here. What is happening? Okay, so they are breaking it.
Yeah.
Look, the outcasts in chat. If you wanna attend Worlds, reading cards is not necessary.
No.
You just show up with your deck that somebody gave you, and you play the games.
I mean, sometimes you don't even have to have the correct provinces.
Oh, that was such a good term right there. So it looks out. Okay, so it looks like they are doing the full thing.
Yeah.
Jasper should discard all 3 copies of Formal Invitation.
Pretty obviously.
Even if it's not. So generally speaking, if you have the option to discard multiple cards, even if it's maybe not the best card, it's generally better value because it's you're just 3 for 0ing. Or actually, he 4 for 0'd him, right?
Right, because he
had the
played the
bonsai.
bonsai.
Yeah. So Jasper's up a huge amount of cards right now.
Yeah.
So Jasper has 2 options. I would probably pass right now.
Yeah, I don't think that there's any real reason to attack.
The problem with attacking here is that if Brad then just finds Restoration of Balance on his second attack, he gets out scot-free.
Yeah,
because his hand has no cards in it.
Right, and Whisperer can break it as is.
Correct. Yeah,
You know?
and so
I would just want to sit back and just make sure that I could protect my provinces. But
right 2 also threatens to take the fate off her. Also, right?
yeah, the benefit to Jasper to attacking here is that if he does find Magistrate Station, there's very little that Brad can do about it.
He should attack the Yoshi province, I think.
Yeah.
Specifically because he's not going to win favor.
Yep.
But he runs on a pilgrimage, so Brad gets Seeker Fate. And I think Brad is just going to say no defense and pass.
Yeah.
So looks like Jasper's coming in at 3. Brad is deciding whether to defend.
We gotta ask you want to get rid of him. Doesn't matter really.
Doesn't really matter, no. You charge him in, I'll get salty.
With my no fate.
But with no charge, I'm fine. I'm okay.
Looks like the players are quickly bantering about the ability to
pass.
charge Mitsu.
No block.
Alright.
No block pass.
I miss Charge and Dragon.
I remember my invitational deck only had 1 charge.
Yeah.
We were really bad at building decks back then.
We just, such an unnecessary card.
Look. Charge Sumiko was pretty nice. I did like that one.
Yeah. No, Charge Shoju. That was my favorite thing to do.
Oh, Charge in Scorpion. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Charge Shoju policy rate you twice.
So good.
The glory days. The glory days of L5R. So it looks like we saw a Seal of the Dragon. Jasper should just use his Stronghold here. It doesn't cost him a card, and it gives him up to 5. So we're going to see the break. Brad loses an honor for unopposed. And
now Jasper needs to kind of get lucky on what Brad attacks.
yeah, he needs him to hit Manicure Garden preferably, because that'll give him two fate.
Yeah.
Alright, crack back on me, dog.
Political.
He should probably Political Fire, and then dishonor the Retsugu.
And it does seem that that's what he's looking at doing.
And he's Manicured. Okay,
Oh, wow.
So I mean, Jasper does get fortunate. He takes a gamble, and he doesn't get punished.
Yep.
Honor me.
And then now he'll,
And we see a court games into a counter court games. I wonder if Brett will voice this for the break. He does. That's really aggressive.
Okay,
Yep.
Pass.
Well, he may just also want the honored token, right? Like, he may be looking for a way to remove the Finger of Jade next turn so he can get off a Noble Sack, maybe, you know?
Looks like Jasper's going to take a break here. His hand looks like to be Sharpened Tsuruhashi, Katana, 2 Hurricane Punches, and a Void Fist
Dishonor.
with another Seal of the Dragon.
Yeah. So,
So his hand is really good.
yeah, he's just... Being down 2 provinces isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, the nice thing is that Restoration is still one of the provinces to be flipped over. Brad just doesn't have a hand, so it may not. Yeah, but it just may not matter. You know what I mean? Like, Brad just naturally will probably only have 6 cards in his hand.
Yeah.
Next turn.
Only 2.
So Jasper losing the Mitsu, there is kind of unfortunate. He would have had the 9 fate and been able to just buy a 3 fate Mitsu and been pretty happy.
Sure.
But Jasper's probably looking for Nita Master here. Nita Master, Yokuni, or Mitsu are the buys you want right now.
Sure. Now, is Nighted Master as effective against Crane as it is in other matchups like Unicorn, whatever? Like,
Yeah, so Crane generally doesn't have the ability to stand their big characters as much as other factions like Phoenix.
Sure.
So without Magistrate Station face up, you can leverage Nita Master's ability to get into multiple challenges.
Okay.
Chat saying background sound noise sounds like the intro to Mario All-Stars.
Oh, it's so good. I do love that game. And so we do see Brad very, very intelligently flip a second copy of Kakita Yoshi after securing the favor.
His brain's so big.
Yeah, this is how he won Gen Con, ladies and gentlemen. And so we see 4 fake Kakita Yoshi. I think that's actually too many. I think I would have put 3. The problem is that the game's just not going to last that much longer. Because the line Brad has taken is to end the game sooner than later because he spent 2 cards to get a break on Manicure Garden.
Right.
Otherwise, you should not have broken Manicure Garden, and you would have had a safe place to attack for a couple more turns.
Okay.
So, interesting buys here, right? So Jasper went with banking, right? He just made 2 small buys of a Mystic and a Doomed instead of actually buying Yokuni. Yokuni actually think is pretty good here.
Yeah, being able to copyright Sugu is really nice.
Yeah, I mean, especially whenever your opponent just played Yoshi with a large amount of fate. Any way that you're able to chip away at that, I think, is pretty beneficial.
Someone in chat is asking if this is Worlds of the Qualifiers. This is indeed Day 1A of Winter Court. So this is round 1 Swiss for Day 1A. We see Way of the Crane being played, presumably during draw step. Jasper does have a Cloud in his hand, but there's a tea house literally staring across from him. So Brad should just let this happen. So I personally wouldn't have used Lecco here. The thing about Tea House is, especially against Cloud, is it forces your opponent to double Cloud you.
Yeah, I mean,
because you can always bounce that same Cloud over and over again every turn.
He may be trying to save the Tea House for Finger of Jade just to ensure that maybe he can get a Noble Sack off.
Well, then you would just let go the Finger of Jade, right? Because that's guaranteed.
Well,
because you don't have to put the character into the conflict against the Tea House, right?
Yeah, but I mean, eventually Raitsugu will wander into a conflict. I think he just didn't want to let go of Finger of Jade, just have another one played.
That's fair. Shameful. So we do see Shameful. Feels bad that if he had bought that Yokuni, it would be huge right now.
Right.
I don't really know why he bought the Mystic. He did see Brad's hand, and Brad was going to draw 5 cards.
I think he just wanted to I think he just wanted to put bodies on the table without spending all of his fate. I don't know why.
Yeah, spending 2 fate on such a... The problem is attacking with the Mystic doesn't threaten anything. If you run into Magistrate Station, right?
Yeah, I mean, I love poking with Mystic for sure. It's just against Crane, it's especially lethal.
Yeah.
For you.
So we see a defense out of Raitsugu. How Jasper should maneuver this situation is he needs to get Raitsugu to duel first,
takes it away,
and then he needs to activate
Shameful.
Shameful.
You die.
Okay.
The problem is if he activates Shameful Display and then duels, Brad gets to re-honor via Kyuden Kakita.
Sure. Right.
So if you sequence it properly, you can get your duel off. It might cost you a little bit of honor, but you then get to remove the honored status token.
Yeah, and Tippo-wise, he's still basically protected because he can still duel first. Then, Brad wants to get rid of the Finger of Jade. He'll still have the next action to re-honor, do whatever.
So Brad has decided to use Kakita Yoshi's favor action first, which signifies that he doesn't have censure.
Yeah.
So we see a Hurricane Punch. So generally speaking, I don't use cancels on Hurricane Punch. I prefer to save them for...
Above question.
Is that a above question?
Yes.
Ooh, that's sick. Oh, Jasper has a Causeway in his hand. It's not very good against Tea House.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
but
it'll probably just get played as a character unless the Tea House goes away.
Yeah, so Jasper does have a Let Go in his hand, actually. So I wonder if he will... So he can't Void Fist right now because of above question. He would need to attempt to Let Go first. But, you still can duel. You can still duel.
Yeah.
So it's 5 Raitsugu is at 2, 4, 6 from Hurricane Punch. So you could duel and lose 4 honor if you wanted.
So I think maybe part of the reason why Jasper took the cheaper route during Dynasty is I do see 2 reprieves in his hand.
That's fair. Maybe you reprieve a Doom Shigenja for a tempo?
Maybe.
He has a Mystic, actually. He Mystic this above question.
Yeah.
Very clearly, Brad playing attachment into onboard Mystic is the route we wanted to go.
Hey, it's the first game.
So Raitsugu should be at 8. 2 base skill from Dishonored, 2 from the Katana, 2 from the Hurricane Punch, and 2 from Stronghold. So 8 to 5. So that's a pretty good duel. I would take that duel pretty much every single time I could. I would lose 2 honor. I would bid 3.
Yeah.
3 to win the duel, and then you let the duel happen, and then you use Shameful Display.
So something you mentioned, I believe at Gen Con, but something that I've seen is true, is that people do not respect when you're dueling, people don't respect the bids to draw, right? They'll just bid their one because they're ahead, and if you just bid to draw,
bid to draw, or
win.
like basically the way you approach dueling is if you were bidding 8 to 5, if Jasper bids 1, he goes to 9.
Yeah.
So if you were to bid 5, you would actually win the duel. So like if you think your opponent's going to bid 1, you can definitely try to win the duel.
Yeah.
Pass.
Okay. So, and we did see, in fact, a Raitsugu duel.
Yep, and then we see
now
the
he's
shameful.
honoring.
So really good sequencing by Jasper.
Yeah.
So it is a political conflict. So we see Yoshi's at a robust 6, and Raitsugu with a seal now is at 3, 4, 5 from Stronghold. So not breaking.
Get here, Brad.
Not very.
Very?
And I would
Very?
probably just pass. I mean, like, who cares about this water ring?
Well, you get your douche engine out. So I don't like this. I would use the Mystic before I play the Let Go.
Alright.
You use your Mia Mystic
Get
now.
off me,
I feel like both players are forgetting this Mia Mystic because Brad just had another above question
Guess I'll pass on
into
that
this
one.
Mia Mystic.
Right.
On the not.
Well, if you use it now, you won't be able to attack with it.
Jasper.
Come on, Anil.
I mean, that's another reason to do this, right? So you Mystic the above question and then you Void Fist because you know your opponent had Indomitable Will. You saw it via this multiple activations of Upholding Authority.
Sure.
But anyways, we don't see any of that happen. We do see Jasper lose the Water Ring. We see the Doom Shigenja bowed. Oh, that's true. Brad actually didn't need to pay a fate for the Indomitable Will because it is still during the conflict which Kakita Yoshi had been activated.
Yeah.
A lot of people forget, including myself, that he has this ability that reduces the cost of events by 2. So, potentially something that could come back to bite them. I don't know if that's going to be.
Well, no. I mean, like, it's not like a. What I'm trying to say, an optional thing. He should just have an extra fate.
Correct.
Right? You can't just spend fate on.
You can't spend fate on things that don't cost fate.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Nix in chat? Hell yeah. Sure.
Yeah, Nix has been around, I think, since the start.
Yeah. Lion Clan Pack is legal for Worlds.
Yes.
I can't quite make out your name, but yeah, the Lion Pack is legal. The meta for this tournament is 5 packs of Inheritance Cycle, and all the clan packs up to Lion Pack.
Yeah.
So we're just missing Crab and Dragon.
And I was a little disappointed. I heard that the Crab Pack would be legal for side events, but the qualifier for next year does not count as a side event, so I still can't play Yasamura in it on Sunday.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, right.
So our friend Konstantinos, who won Krakow that came over, was playing a wall deck in a side event, and I was watching him play it, and it looked really cool. He lost a lot of games.
Well,
but,
it's new, right?
I just don't think anyone knows how to build that deck. So we do see this Void conflict get defended by Yoshi. We see Shameful Display get activated, and Jasper just passes through.
Sure.
We're gonna see looks like Military Earth come through to this Shameful Display. And
I'm a 1.
Jasper just has a lot of 1-cost attachments in his hand. He's got some Clouds, some Reprieves, and Finger of Jades. None of this stuff helps him. Oh, he does have a Kazoo.
Yeah.
So you can drop Kazoo into the conflict, and then you can threaten Void Fist.
Yeah. I mean, she is a monk.
That's the name of the game, I guess.
Yep, and that is indeed what we see.
He does need to take off the. There we go.
Okay. He was just figuring out how much to put on her. I think I would have put all the fate on her. I put 2 on her because the Void Ring is off the table. You then don't need to worry about playing any of your attachments. Finger of Jade, all that stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like he's favoring the reprieve.
What is he? Are we saying he's going to reprieve a Doom Shigenja?
I don't know. I mean, probably, I guess.
Sure. I would just. The matchup is really grindy, and your opponent is going to probably have favor again. Like you can't hemorrhage all these really important attachments that save big characters, right? Like saving a Doom Shigenja versus saving this Raitsugu in a couple turns, or even saving the Kazue for a turn. Her type line is actually really relevant.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Jasper will get the favor because of
action window.
the Imperial Palace.
Oh yeah, he does have the Imperial
no,
Palace
I got
actually.
Post-conflict.
So Jasper needs to remember to use his Mia Mystic before this window opens or ends.
We're gonna go for this again.
Okay.
Well, I have some Shigenjas on the board.
He's not going to win the favor, so he doesn't need to do this.
Sure.
We do see an Ancient Master come down, though.
Pretty good.
Does that win him favor over the Palace?
Pop the above question.
So he does remember to kill the above question.
Okay.
So right now, Brad's at 4.
Yeah, and Jasper's also at 4, so nobody will win the favor, actually.
Yes.
Oh, no, there's a Kala
You
delegate.
do?
5.
Oh, yeah.
So Kala delegate has 1.
That's
Okay,
tough.
I guess.
It always
This
sucks to
family will
get the
react
Palace
on
up and then still lose favor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Clean it up
Yeah.
from her.
So again, Brad should just keep this Tea House and then use Tea House to scrub this cloud off of his character.
Yeah. So, would you? I guess that maybe a better way to have done this is to still put 2 Fate on the Kazuya and then just plan to cloud the Yoshi like in the draw phase the next turn.
Well, he wouldn't have had a Shigenja. So that's why it seems he's worried he's not going to flip another Shigenja.
Sure.
The problem is that these clouds don't do anything because you're staring at face-up Tea House.
I'll leave the challenge.
I mean, there are a lot of attachments for Tea House.
Shocker.
So this isn't like Crab or even Unicorn, where these attachments are going to get at you every single conflict. Dragon's attachments are going to be in one conflict.
I feel like it should care.
And so, if I can just Tea House this cloud, it means A, I'm safe from cloud for the phase.
Oh, yeah, give it this.
So that means like
get mad.
another important character is not going to be clouded. B, I'm going to then get my Yoshi activation, and it costs my opponent a fate every time to do this, right? You tax your opponent a fate. Sure. So, like, there's not that many, like, dangerous attachments, especially now that you've seen this Kazuya get played as a character, right?
That's practically.
And Brett is playing Let Go,
Always
right?
be
So, like,
greedy.
you don't necessarily need
Never bites you in the
to
ass.
worry about other attachments if you can use
that on
Let Go
fate,
on
by the way?
those instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So whenever
Looks like a Kikita Dojo and Challenger. That looks like Doji Kuzunobo.
So the poke attack that Jasper made last turn when he ran into Shameful.
Yeah.
I think I probably would have just run it to the province that had Tea House in it.
And see what it is.
Just to, Tea House is kind of a pain in the ass.
I'm
Like,
a coward. I probably wouldn't have attacked because if I
That's
hit Magic
fair.
Sensation, I would lose the game.
Yeah.
Gomsh. Looks like they didn't catch it, so Crane is technically down a fate. That is indeed a Raitsugu vineyard.
Well, Dirty Deeds is saying they fixed it.
Okay.
So, all right. I believe you.
Exactly.
Yep.
Not much we can do about it otherwise. So it looks like Jasper's first player has flipped over an investigator. That is the Grand Championships investigator, but instead has bought Nita Master. Kitsugi Investigator has historically been good against Crane, but hilariously become bad against Crane because of the Kikita Dojo.
Sure.
And Doji Challenge, right? Between all of these interactions, it's really hard to actually get your Kitsugi Investigator to do what you want it to. Because, like, usually you could attack them and then fire it if you were first player, but then they can just first action duel you.
Yeah.
And then when your second player gets dragged into military conflicts, it's a really sad day for the bald men.
So, a lot of changes have the Dragon deck that Jasper is playing. A lot has happened to this deck to make it not as efficient as the deck was generally last year. My least favorite thing about it is that there's no Tattooed Wanderers, or not Tattooed Wanderers.
Kuruma Skirmishers.
No, dang it, I'm forgetting the card.
What is it, Jim?
Wandering Ronin. There we go.
Indeed, we don't have the Wandering Ronin challenge. We do have a lot of other bounties available but from all the clans. A lot of community support has really come through for this event where people just want to see cool things. Like, I know there's a Crane one where if you Noble Sack Suko, it was like from the fiction.
Sure.
The people that like insulted the Crane, like Suko and like 2 other characters, Zentaro.
Yeah.
And if you Noble Sack them, you get to claim up the bounty. But you have to do it on in the cut because it means more. So we do see Brad actually do the naked pass. He's decided to not buy anything, using the 2 characters in play. And this signifies to me that he has a political rival in his hand already, like before drawing.
Yeah, I mean, typically with Crane, they're gonna buy their 1 body with Fate every dynasty, and whenever they don't, that's whenever they have the conflict character in their hand.
I think I might have considered buying the Challenger anyway. A lot of your deck is cost 0 fate, so you don't have to worry about it. We do see it looks like a political heir. I believe that's heir.
Somebody, they're saying that you should have paid 1 fate for something. You should not
Stars.
have paid.
Oh, yeah, because he reduced the event.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got
So
it.
Brad should have another fate.
Yeah, you reduce the event cost, so you should not have paid for Indomitable Will.
Correct.
To get one fate back.
The Indomitable will, yeah.
Yep. Perfect.
So this is
awesome.
political
You know what? Like I like
here.
that kind of fix. It's
political
obviously it's after the fact that it's happened, but it doesn't affect the game state. It doesn't affect
Not
any
that
decisions.
turn.
Right. Yeah.
It's just. Well, we do
this
see
knowledge.
Jasper rumbling onto upholding authority. I'm not defending this from Brad. I'm telling Jasper, do your worst.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this tea house that has kind of done nothing all game except for like threat of activation, I guess.
Maybe
you might say.
do. So if you don't have a let go in your hand for this cloud, maybe you do block and then tea house the cloud, and activate Yoshi then.
That's just so hard because you're getting in the way of your own upholding authority. Right?
Yeah,
like
it's really tough, but you need to draw cards.
I love drawing cards, but I just
You could play rival here actually because it's political.
oh, that's true. Yeah, and there's the top card in his hand.
You could rival, and then he doesn't have Finger of Jade, so you can't policy bait. You could rival tea house the Finger of Jade, but then you can't tea house the cloud.
Well, well, that's true.
No
If he's
block.
saving. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, so no blocks, and then we'll see if he decides to.
Looks like I see a duelist training also.
Conflict?
Brad plays this rival looks like at home, or he's really representing combat differently. I would like move everything over. It's really hard to tell like who's blocking. I believe the rival is.
Well, yeah, because he said no defense, even though the Yoshi is right in front of the V10 Master as far as how the board,
how
the
they're
board
they're
looks.
representing it on the board.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so it's 6 to just 3, right?
Looks like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Policy
Jasper
debate?
should sacrifice his Finger of Jade to cancel
Make
his
sure I
policy
don't
bait
finger
100%.
this. I
Alright.
might just finger this. What else do I care about? Yeah, I'll finger that.
Okay.
Okay, and that's what we hear. So Jasper cancels it with Finger of Jade. Finger of Jade is kind of this workhorse card. It just kind of is like a catch-all against so many different things that can happen to you. And
Yeah.
looks like Brad just takes his victory then.
I mean, it's been a pretty important part of Dragon's game plan for like 18 months, right?
Yeah, the thing is about Finger of Jade is it's just so versatile, and with the Dragon Stronghold, you don't feel as bad about playing a card that technically doesn't affect the board.
Sure. I just remember January of last year, whenever Fate Worse Than Death and like the Oppressive Scorpion deck started really coming out, and it's like, well, the Dragon's losing to this right now. I guess we could play Finger Jade. That doesn't feel very hype.
I believe we tried Censure first, and then we just put I believe the initial iteration was like 2 Censures, 1 Finger of Jade.
Right.
And then it just like slowly shifted into, hey, we should just play 3 Finger of Jades.
This is a horrible morning.
Check commenting about the 2-player mat. 2-player mat is indeed really, really sweet.
Happy to stop listening
Definitely
to
really, really
Raj.
cool.
What?
The layout of the mat is a little bit unfortunate for like the rings on the side are a little bit.
Well, so I noticed that's how Tyler was playing yesterday in the draft.
Oh, really?
Like he had his rings lined up on the side. So it looks like that is something that they're trying to like make a thing.
Maybe that's I don't think they're going to succeed, but I appreciate it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It is a little awkward sometimes just having like rings
In
just,
the
like,
middle of
in
the
middle
table.
of the
Yeah, I
table,
agree.
Right. But it does like very easily represent what's still open, what has fate.
Yeah,
I mean,
and so we do see the rumble on in the restoration of balance against this this palace. Is this both characters attacking? Do we know?
Some wild stuff here.
I'm not blocking.
No blocks pass.
Yep, no blocks pass is what we hear, and we see Brad just going for it.
yeah.
Needs to pick. I think he has 6 cards in his hand.
Yeah, like this is.
So he's just gonna play a fan and a duelist training, and not discard any cards.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Oh, he has a let go too, so you can play a fan, let go, and then be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you probably don't even need to play the let go.
Sure.
Like
yeah,
I would just put duelist training on Yoshi, right, and then.
yeah, that's very even though it's very anti-canon or whatever, right? Isn't this guy not supposed to be able to duel or hold a sword?
He's got 5 military right now. He can duel.
Yoshi's the guy that has the curse where he can't hold a sword, right?
Is that Yoshi?
Right? Isn't that this character?
Chat, tell us story-wise. All
yeah,
right, there we go.
Luke in chat is letting me know that I'm correct. Looks like we're seeing a let go on a fine katana, and then we see a break. We see restoration of balance being very sad that it has been eroded. because it didn't do anything right there, and we see Jasper losing on in front of post. This is where the reprieve game comes into handy, where this red Sugu is just not going anywhere.
Yeah.
We should see Nita Master get stood here. Yep, and that's what we see. Looks like that's a sharpened Tsuruhashi.
So I'm not a big fan of that let go play there.
I don't like the
Brad.
let go play. I think I would have played duelist training.
Yeah. Maybe Brad knows the lore and is trying to ensure that he,
He stays true to form. That's fair.
Yeah.
You know, I
sounds
respect
like
that.
Brad.
So if I'm Jasper, I'm doing military earth. Because I'm gonna be second player actually. Maybe you scoop the fate here. Is that the firing? Yeah, it looks like it's the firing. It looks like Brad has claimed the void and the airing in his bottom left.
Yes.
So I would do military fire with Nita Master. And it looks like he's sending the kazoo also. At shameful display.
Lost one for undefended.
This is aggressive.
So military fire these two idiots?
So with this board here, I don't know. The honored Yoshi is a problem. I'm trying to decide if this is the time I would make the risk to just run into Magistrate Station, right? Like
you have the Void Fists, right? Like
Yeah.
you have multiple Void Fists. I think I would.
Right.
I think I would.
Like, just take the risk, and since you have a real board, you have a real hand, this is probably your best opportunity.
Your opponent doesn't have a huge hand. Like
Yeah.
you have multiple Void Fists. Like, I think I'm with you. I wonder if Brad doesn't defend this and then uses Shameful Display, honor Kazue, dishonor Nita Master.
Sure.
A lot of people don't really utilize that. I think the ability to target both your opponent's characters.
Yeah.
So the reason so looks like we are seeing block. We're seeing a Tea House on the cloud.
No, for that same reason, Shameful Display is almost debilitating in certain board states against Kaiden Biyushi.
Interesting. We see Hurricane Punch on Kazue instead of sealing the Nita Master. I like sealing the Nita Master because it has a sword on it, so it already has a higher strength.
Yeah.
And then also you're going to want to put attachments on the Nita Master at some point anyway, so you might as well do that and then box it. Maybe he's thinking that because the Nita Master is going to get dishonored, it's not going to have enough strength. So we need to play one more card to turn on Void Fist.
Crave at home?
Makes sense.
Yeah, Luke in chat letting us know that despite being the Kikita family daimyo, Kikita Yoshi cannot wield a sword because he is cursed. So indeed, would be odd to have duelist training. So Brad should probably activate Shameful as his next action.
Is he defending?
Yeah, because he Tea-Housed the Cloud, right? Oh, sorry, he activated Yoshi as his next action.
I got you.
So we see an Ancestral Daisho on this Kazue. This is not the line that I would have taken, but I see where Jasper's going. He's basically presenting the target that's going to Void Fist as something that's not going to get Shameful, right?
Yeah.
So we see a new name. So Kazue is 5'6'7", Yoshi is 5'6", I believe. Because I believe he's a fan, a new name. Those 3 attachments. Maybe he has a katana.
I don't know, the glare is getting in the way a little.
Yeah. So I presume if Jasper is not playing Void Fist, it is not a Void Fistable. Is that a...
That's a Tsuruhachi, isn't it?
Is he just going to reprieve the Kazue then instead of the Raitsugu? Oh, he already reprieved the Raitsugu.
Yes.
So this is where I was saying attaching all the things onto your Nita Master would be better.
Just because you're keeping it around for longer.
Yeah.
I'm worried that Jasper's getting himself in a position where he's going to want to also reprieve this Kazue.
Yeah, I would agree.
And that's troublesome because then you just lose all your board next turn.
Yeah, and this 2 Fate Nita Master is not doing him any favors either.
Yeah. So now Brad plays a bonsai. Didn't Jasper already have a window to just play Void Fist and get this over with?
No, right? Because he put the fine katanas, right? So he went to 5, 6, 7.
Right.
Kazue went to 7. Then Brad played a new name.
To go to 8?
To go to 8.
I see, okay.
And then Jasper can box, but he doesn't have any more pumps in his hand.
Well, I mean, the bonsai just puts him out of range, right? Like, there's...
Well, I'm saying to win the conflict.
Oh, okay.
I'm like trying. I'm moving to plan B here. We're trying to win the conflict. So we're let going the fine katana. Okay, so Kazue is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Tessie discard.
Yoshi is 5, 9, 10. So with Mountains Anvil Castle, Kazue will go to 10. However, Brad will then be forced to shameful display the Kazue.
Yes.
Yeah. It doesn't look like they're using conflict dice at the moment. It's really, I think, up to the players.
They hit him out for the draft. I just don't think they'd put him on the table
Yeah.
yet. We may see him later on. We'll let him know the chat.
So we see a duelist training. So we should see Mountains Anvil Castle get used on. Oh, okay. Is it maybe I miscounted and we can be void fisting now?
Yeah. That's what I was saying. I thought that he could void fist earlier, but I don't know.
I'm not bigger than you.
She was a.
Oh, okay. I was right. I was right.
Now, I can't fist you.
So Jasper played a card he literally couldn't.
Sorry. We need dice. I got this voice back. Sorry, Mehmet. Thank you. I jumped the gun.
Nice, clean game so far.
Yeah. So definitely being well policed by both players.
I'm even with you now, though.
And the judge.
So technically, Jasper, I think,
job.
should get a warning under the new floor rules. We have these awesome new floor rules.
Yeah.
So Jasper, I think technically Jasper would get a warning.
Yeah. I got a warning at Gen Con whenever I played with the illegal deck.
Look, provinces are hard.
They are.
So we do see the shameful display. And yep, that's what I was saying. So now Kazue is out of range to Void Fist. She's down to 9, and Yoshi's still up at 10.
Is that a Surahachi that's his top card?
Yeah, I guess he's just gonna do it. Look, you have committed so much right now. You are past the point of no return.
Yeah. I mean, what this also means is that
you have to reprieve this.
You have to reprieve this Kazue.
Actually, you don't have to, right? Because the dice show is gonna go back to your hand. You just throw 2 Surahashis away.
That's a huge bummer on the turn that you buy 19 Master.
You're not wrong. I'm just letting you know that this is what, the things we do for love.
For sure. So, Jasper has 2 Void Fists in his hand. Is that right?
So Brad would need double the last 2 voices specifically because he can't play Censure at the moment. So we have Duelist Training. Duelist Training bows Nita Master.
Now, Fister.
Okay, Nita Master did get bowed. Jasper just can't wait to get Void Fist on his hand.
Okay.
And so we're going to see Voice of Honor. Yep, we're going to see Voice of Honor.
Brad has another action. Well, he just has, what, 2 court games in his hand right now?
It looks like it.
Yeah.
Is this Kakita Dojo? This doesn't matter, right? His character is not a duelist. So this should not matter.
Alright. Fister again?
Oh, Jasper just has all 3 Void Fists. And we're going to see a break.
So you're breaking this?
I am breaking this.
Killing Doji Challenger?
Yeah, get it out of here.
So I would
Fire
probably honor
ring.
Nita Master. Because you're at least going to stand next turn with the die show.
Sure.
And
I don't even know.
having your multiple
Probably just
standing,
idiot.
yep, and that's what we see. We see our multiple standing character, have better stats. And I think Jasper will win favor now, because he has 1. Oh no, it's 2-2.
Pass.
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 Which is also
Oh
fine.
no! Sorry, they have these rings really spread out. So the Earth ring is like way off to the side, and the Water ring hasn't been claimed. So
I'll lose one.
Brad does win favor again.
Okay.
Game is
provinces.
back.
Yoshi's not
The
clouded
only
still,
2 left,
right?
right?
No, I think it got let go.
Okay.
Maybe he is clouded. I don't know.
Well, no, I thought
Oh, we got T-oused.
Okay.
Yeah, those 2.
Yeah, Brad let go like a fine katana or something.
Yeah. I think that was a bit spewy. Like if I was to describe how useful that let going that katana would be, I would describe it as spewy. So Brad has indeed double court games as his hand right now. He's been really buoyed by Yoshi.
Yeah, I had $2 left.
Did somebody not claim the favor? Like what is
one.
going on here? Oh right, Sugu was standing.
Yeah. So what? They tied, right?
They tied, right?
pushed.
So nobody gets the favor.
Yeah.
That's actually good then.
Well, it's good. Yeah, it's good for Jasper. Because he
Yes.
doesn't care about having the favor really at all.
At all.
He just wants to make sure that Brad doesn't.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
So he flipped Tagashi Mitsu.
So this is a Kozanobu?
We'll go 2.
Yeah, so for those who don't know what Doji Kuzunobu does, it is it's the Fox character.
Yeah, it's
who went to go talk to people, I think.
It's Hataru's husband.
Hataru's husband, that's
Yes.
the one. And he's a 4-cost courtier creature, 3 military, 4 political with 2 glory. And he has a static text box that says, while this character is participating in a conflict, players cannot trigger reaction abilities.
Yeah. So it seems limited when you read it, but it actually has pretty vast applications.
In this matchup specifically, the cards that it affects are Sacred Sanctuary. Mm-hmm. You cannot get the reaction on Sacred Sanctuary. You don't get Seeker Fate, which will trigger only on Sacred Sanctuary now.
Yeah.
And you cannot trigger Hawk Tattoo.
It also, depending on how Brad structures his attacks, he could potentially turn off his own box.
Yes, that is something that I have done and have seen done, where you're like, I'm going to use Kakita Dojo and honor this Kuzunobo, and then you're like, crap, I can't. So, looks like Brad has picked up his 3rd Let Go, a Fine Katana, his 3rd Voice of Honor. So Mitsu here is actually huge. Being able to replay these Void Fists and force your opponent to cancel cards out of your discard pile is huge.
Yeah.
So Jasper should use his Void Fist out of his discard pile before using one in his hand.
Of course.
And for those who don't know the interaction between canceling a card that's being played by Mitsu, is what happens is the card gets canceled and actually just becomes the top card of your discard pile. It does not go onto the bottom of your deck.
Oh, okay.
So that leaves it back in the discard pile for next turn where you can play it again.
Sure. Well, I mean, one of my favorite tricks with Mitsu is just if I'm attacking on political,
Give me
just
a
still
scale
use
here.
him to play a Hurricane Punch
Sure.
just to draw the
yeah.
card. you
Yeah,
know?
absolutely. I would still do that. I do think he needs to be playing Void Fists with Mitsu, though.
Of course.
You need to get them back in your deck, too.
Yeah. For this situation, that's not too good.
Yeah.
But in general applications, I like that Mitsu sometimes just says draw a card.
Draw a card, indeed. And put Hurricane Punch
ask
back
for
in my
the
deck,
wording
which is
of
great.
it.
Good.
It's a lot better when you have Swordsmith or sometimes you attach Ancient Master to
Just-
shuffle
just
your deck.
little shuffle,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
wondering if this thing shuts off my box. Yes, it does.
Yeah, I just need to know how or what it actually does if I don't shut it off. Does it ready a guy and bring him in, or does it?
So Brad is
Doesn't
asking
bring
for
him in,
Oracle
but he
text
doesn't
on
bow
Sacred
from conflict
Sanctuary.
resolution, can't be bound by your effects.
Okay.
So your duelist trading will not bow.
Okay.
The one he targets.
And Jasper gave it to him.
But it doesn't bring
And
him-
duelist trading.
The gist of it was when
But it
Sacred
doesn't bring him
Sanctuary
into the fight.
Does
triggers
not
its
force-
reaction,
does not
you
bring
choose
him.
a monk character that you control. That character, you ready that character. It does not bow as a result of conflict resolution, and it cannot be bowed by your opponent's card effects.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed the fact that this 2-province strength
Indeed, it has
province
2 province
has managed to remain the best choice for at least amongst province.
Any deck that's
stronghold
playing
province.
Mitsu and these monk cards, basically. It's just such a powerful grindy effect that really forces your opponent to... Basically, the term your opponent can gas out. Basically, they play all their cards, and if they don't break it, they then have less cards, and the effect just keeps happening.
Yeah,
Kuzunobo is a problem,
of course.
so
These
Jasper
two guys
definitely
show
has to.
So you've have you had problem getting big political numbers with Dragon recently?
You can't. It's just so hard. So when I was testing this deck, I was helping some friends test for Worlds.
Sure.
And we were building this deck. They were talking about cutting fans, and so we tried that out. And you just take political
I like
breaks
big numbers.
all the time because you just have a 4 strength stronghold.
Yeah.
And if you cannot resolve Void Fist, you cannot defend this province.
Sure.
Like Brad is coming in with like
Alright,
15 political. He's got a rival for 3.
Hurricane Fist.
He's got
This guy?
Kuzunobo's
Yeah,
4,
this
so that's
guy.
7.
Sure.
Yoshi is 9 by himself, plus a fan, so 11. He's like 18 political, right?
Let's do.
And yeah, exactly. We see policy debate, and so
This is looking pretty bad.
I think actually Jasper's going to die here.
Yes.
Because I believe he's going to get his last Void Fist discarded, and I believe he is then going to get his Void Fist out of Mitsu
You have
canceled.
$1.
I got $1.
And so this is something that I've been running into in the Scorpion versus Dragon matchup as well, right? Like Dragon is very good against Scorpion, but I have a get out of jail free card by attacking them political and trying to erase, and I was finding that I was having success with that.
And so basically, my final iteration of the Dragon deck that I imparted to my friends who were going to play Dragon was basically I cut down to 7 swords. We played 7 last year. And I put
But,
3 Ornate Fans in my deck.
right, and we see Jasper does have Ornate.
He does have Ornate Fan, which is, like, between the fans and your stronghold, you
dangerous.
can potentially
Yeah, that's
defend.
Yeah.
I just want to know what you got.
All right.
It's just very, very
Six
difficult.
swords.
So we do see Policy Debate, of
Million
course,
seals.
take Void Fist.
Yep.
I mean, Jasper has a ton more cards in his hand than Brad does because of the way that Brad has been aggressively playing. I just don't know if that
So
hand
he has
does anything.
2 from Fan, 2 from Seal, so that's 4. He can Stronghold for 6. He can play Tattoo Wanderer for 7. So he can, and then he can bring in Nita Master with his favorable ground.
Oh, yeah, he does have favorable ground. I missed that. That's cool. So, I mean, there's plays, right? He's not.
It doesn't look. It looks like he has a Stoic Gunso actually in his hand.
Is that what you saw instead of the Skirmisher?
Must
or,
be.
Or did you see
No, he like the influence doesn't work out for him to have Skirmisher.
Sure,
Because
sure.
we've seen 3 Tsuruhashis, and I have to imagine Jasper's playing 3 repeats. That does leave you with 1 influence for this Stoic Gunso.
Sure.
It's your action.
Is it?
Yeah, I
Oh yeah,
beat you.
yeah, you're right. You're right.
Oh yeah. Dirty DDDs points out that Stoic Gunso has really sick Tsuruhashi synergy.
Oh, sure.
Because you can sacrifice the character that has Tsuruhashis and get them back to your hand.
Huh. That's neat.
I have only come up with the synergy of putting them on Mia Mystics, and having Mia Mystic rumble on in, and then you sacrifice the Mystic to kill an attachment, and
Sure.
you pick them up. But actually, Stoic Gunso is
That's kind of cool.
Some hot tech.
I like that. It's spicy.
Looks like FFGLive is working on some dice for conflict
I'm the
math,
same.
which will be
6,
perfect.
6,
It'll help
4,
basically
5,
everybody
6, 7.
Oh,
involved.
never mind. You're right.
Yeah.
All right, so
You're right.
currently Mitsu cannot
guess
play
you
the
played
Void
that,
Fist
didn't
on Yoshi because Yoshi's still too big. So
Yeah, so it looks like
That changes.
we see an attachment get put on Nita Master.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Well, Seal of the
yeah,
Dragon on Nita Master.
yeah.
I'm gonna.
I got an action.
Okay. Oh yeah. You're on.
My concern here, like he obviously wants to start playing katanas so he can try and get bigger and activate his Void Fist. But I think the moment the first katana hits the table, Brad's just going to T-house it, and then they'll be stuck in hand, right? Do you think that there's
Maybe you're supposed to pre-play all of them.
maybe? I mean, do you think that there's anything that Jasper can do to bait a T-house activation without playing a fine katana right now? Maybe play a fan and see if.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. What does this fan do for you, though? Or what does the katana do for you?
Well,
The Void Fist is going to get voiced.
Does he have a voice?
Yeah, he has the 3rd voice in his hand.
Oh, okay. Well,
Right.
Jasper doesn't know that yet.
Sure. But as Brad, that means you don't T-house the katana.
Sure. Okay, that makes
You
sense.
save the T-house for the fan, right?
Yeah.
This sucks. Let's play this dumb thing.
All right.
Dirty,
Oh yeah. dude.
Dirty DDs is
That's
pointing out
relevant.
the Jasper doing the click Void Fist until it can be used on Jigoku. I am a heavy subscriber to that tactic. I definitely have clicked Void Fists multiple times until I can target the person I want to.
Right.
DC Morgan is asking, new to tournaments, what happens if they go to time? So if the players go to time, there is a tiebreaker system where
it's
you
all or
get
nothing,
certain
right?
Is it
2
all?
points
Okay.
per
One or
province
the
break.
other.
I'll pay for it.
Up to 3 provinces.
Up to 3 provinces, so 6 points. Whoever has more honor gets 2 points, and whoever has the favor gets
so
a
you go
point.
down
And
5.
that way, whoever has more points at the end of time will be the winner. Generally speaking, if both players are playing at a reasonable pace, you should not be going to time.
So if there's any way that Jasper can actually defend this, he's in a good spot.
Well, he can stand Nita Master.
Exactly, and then he can go after, what is it, upholding authority?
You
there?
have to go after upholding
Of
authority
course.
because you can't. Or what you can do is you can pass your first conflict,
we tied.
stand Nita Master on your second after Brad passes his second, and then go kill Magistrate Station.
I would just be much more aggressive. I would just go after upholding authority and then try and have a second
try and break the
conflict,
stronghold
and then try and
immediately.
break strong.
Okay.
Like you have a window here if you defend. You basically have a 1-turn window to try and kill Crane. Because I think if Crane is allowed to come back at you next turn, you're just still dead.
If Crane untaps, that you lose. Correct. Serial points out there is an opportunity. You can concede at any point in the match, regardless of time or not. And I believe there is 10 minutes total after the timed rules. The time rules have changed a little bit. I believe it's 10 minutes total after the timed rules.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where this goes. Hold on.
So it looks like the Seal of the Dragon has been T-housed because Jasper does have another one in his hand.
Yeah.
No, because he's playing one.
We're doing dumb things.
Oh, I see. He put it on Mitsu.
Dumb way.
Yeah.
Do these stack? These stack, right? I don't know.
New
so
names?
Duelist training.
Yeah, they stack.
They do. It's weird because it says
What
attached character
what
names.
about Mitsu? Was that the
Duelist training.
Duelist training? Okay.
It does, so
Okay.
it gains like another instance of it.
Right.
Oh, Brad is asking if he puts another duelist training on Yoshi, is he able to use it again? The answer is yes. It does give him another instance of that text.
Right.
No, so Mitsu got bowed because Crane has Doji Kuzunobo, so you can't trigger the reaction on Sacred
Winning and
Sanctuary.
breaking. Pass.
It's very unfortunate.
It's another reason this matchup has become worse.
Yeah.
Winning and
I expect to see a lot of Doji Kuzunobo, and we do see the Void Fist the Voice of Honor on the Void Fist, and that is indeed kind of what we were talking about, where Dragon just couldn't defend a political attack.
Yeah.
So,
fucking sucks.
All right,
that
so
we paired.
we do kind of see this breakout kind of as the matchup percentage indicates, right? Crane kind of came out and was able to win against Dragon.
You just
Kind
need
of
to
with the
be
game plan that we were thinking. Brad was playing a bit more aggressive than I think.
Then maybe you or I might have. But obviously, he did have a game plan, right?
Yeah.
His aggressive usage of cards allowed him to then break Restoration of Balance
We have
with scot-free,
is there other,
basically.
entry prizes
We did
and
see
stuff, or
the
no?
ability to play attachments before Restoration broke,
Sure.
and we kind of saw what I was saying, where boards kind of got a little bit big.
Where are they?
Characters were invested. That Yoshi really, really hard carried Brad with the ability. I think he activated Yoshi twice.
Yeah, I mean,
six extra cards. Especially when you're just really aggressively playing your cards, the ability to draw extra ones is.
And when you get free cards discarded from your hand,
Yes.
turn one.
Like I need to.
And it looks like we're gonna be.
I don't have enough actions. To
So,
do it.
as far
timely
as
fashion,
other matchups, do you kind of assume that other Dragon Crane matchups that we see today would play very similar to this, or do you think that
no,
It depends on if Crane is going to be on Secret
Doesn't
Board.
matter.
Sure.
So I think the Keeper of Air matchup, especially people on Scorpion Clash, plays out very differently.
Of course, okay, yeah. All right, well, we're going to take a break in between rounds. We'll be back in 20 minutes. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be back.
Stay tuned.
I think
right, howdy friends. Welcome back to FFG Worlds. I'm Chris, joined with Anil.
Yep.
So I ran into Gen Con champion Brad Emon, winner of our round 1 there. He was making some joking comments about a little bit of loose play there.
It was the the morning game, the 11 a.m. game.
Right.
You know, some gotta get the cobwebs out of your eyes. You know, read the cards.
Reading the cards.
Look,
so
a W is a W. So Brad definitely starting out strong. We have. I think we're going to be getting Steve Palumbo coming up next.
I think so. We got some pairings on Lotus Pavilion. We're not quite sure if those are official yet. They may be still working out some kinks, but we do think that we've got a pretty good matchup picked out for you guys here. Some of the side events that are running right now seem pretty interesting. We've got Clan War side event that's going on at the same time.
And the draft side events.
Yeah, draft side events. I played in the draft yesterday. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
definitely not a great balanced format yet. But,
no, you definitely get pantsed by some things. Like I ran into a meditations that randomly killed me.
Sure, because it's not a normal. You have to draft that province, right?
Yeah. And I just didn't. One, I didn't know if it's actually in the card pool or not. And two, I just, it's not something I was expecting, right? So I think until kind of like if you've ever played in like a cube type format in Magic or something like that, once you understand what the full pool is,
you have to know hey, is Forcible on this side?
Yeah, right. So, but the actual drafting process itself was pretty insane because I think I waffled between playing Phoenix and Dragon and Unicorn and Crab all until I finally got an actual deck.
Just to keep the size.
Yeah, because you can only play 2 or up to 3 factions, right?
Yeah, you can play multiple. You can play more than 2 with one of the roles, but the role does not allow you to play unique cards, right?
Oh, it doesn't let you play unique cards.
Yes.
Okay, so you can't play you couldn't play Togashi Yokuni.
Exactly, right? You can play,
I think that's a great balancing factor.
Yes, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed. So the one card that I just absolutely wanted to draft more than anything else in the world was Hidden Moon Dojo, right?
And you did, of course.
Well, and I did, but unfortunately I didn't get it until my last pack, and I was already solidly in Crab and Unicorn at that point.
And you had too many uniques to take the extra roll.
Yeah,
would you play Hidden Moon Dojo with the roll just
well, but I can't.
It is itself unique.
Yeah, or you can't play holdings or something like that. I don't know. There was something where I would not have been able to play it, right? I think it's probably because it's unique, right? But anyway, I still hate drafted the hell out of it because I wasn't going to let anyone else have Hidden Moon Dojo.
We do have Steve Palumbo sighing a sigh of I've been put on stream by 2 people that I know, and so shout out to Steve. So we have Steve Palumbo from the Florida meta, I believe.
Yes.
Steve is in Florida. Well-known Scorpion Dishonor player. Did he also play Scorpion in the old game?
So he played a lot of Dishonor. He won a very prevalent event at the end of the game called Bride of the Emperor, where he actually got a bounty of $1,000 for picking a specific Crab character.
Sure.
He played Crab Dishonor in that. So he's always just generally been a Dishonor
player. Yeah. And we have Augustine Shim out of the Vancouver meta. So that's going to be the meta with Kevin Ho and Mark Payment and all the guys up there.
Yeah.
So very, very, very... Action Johnny is part of that meta. So that's a really, really competitive meta. And so should be a really good game. This is a pretty classic matchup, Crane versus Scorpion.
Sure.
It has not really changed that much. Actually, sorry, I take that back. It has changed a lot since last year, right?
Oh, yeah,
Since the finals
absolutely.
last year, because Scorpion now has access to this card called Mark of Shame.
Yes.
And Mark of Shame almost single-handedly makes this probably a negative matchup for Crane.
Yeah, now I don't think it's... I mean, there's been a lot of hyperbole about Crane versus Scorpion, that Crane is just in a huge hole.
Yeah, I
in
don't
the
think it's
matchup.
unwinnable, right? But I definitely think Scorpion is favored.
Of course, I think they are favored, but I mean, you do just get large, ignorant Crane bodies, and you do stuff with them, right? I mean,
Well, you try to, right?
Yeah. So the Scorpion player still has to be, coherent enough to play their cards in the correct order.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, Mark of Shame is obviously a huge card, and that's one of the reasons why I felt that Keeper of Air Crane might be semi-prevalent, just because using Mark of Shame in the mirror can put you ahead as well.
That's for sure. And it does look like that is Keeper of Air for Augustine.
Yeah, so that does mean he'll have access to Soul Beyond Reproach, so Mark of Shame could be answered.
If he's decided to run it.
Right.
You might take Keeper. I know some people have taken Keeper and still run Dragon Splash, and they literally just want it for Defend Your Honor.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Because Defend Your Honor is actually really awesome with your Stronghold. I've run into a lot of situations that I didn't expect with that card. I would get Defend Your Honor, they'd like they would be down in that duel,
close enough to
lose
time.
that duel, and then they box and defend your honor again because their characters
Sure.
are bigger.
So the first one basically just acts as like a way of the crane. or
Yeah,
something,
yeah, exactly.
But at reaction speed. Right?
Yeah. And so we'll see if I assume Augustine is playing Defend Your Honor because that is a huge draw to playing the Keeper. Defend Your Honor is a card that if Steve Palumbo is not aware of or is not playing around, we could just see like a Fate Worse Than Death get thrown into Defend Your Honor, right? Like that is...
I would have to imagine that any Fate Worse Than Death that we see in this matchup will be in conflicts that Palumbo's not participating in.
You would hope so. I'm just saying if that card is not on his mind,
Sure.
Like if he is not used to playing against Keeper Cranes,
If he's just
for
not
instance.
thinking about it, right?
Yeah, if he's used to playing against these Seeker Cranes who are not playing that card, it's definitely something that you can just have a brain fart about, right?
Sure.
And so looks like. Yeah. So Steve Palumbo is well known for Phoenix Splash in his Dishonor deck.
That is what
And
he's playing.
that is I would be very, very shocked if he was playing something different.
12.
And so we should be seeing basically the splash of Display of Power along with Seeker of Knowledge and the aforementioned All and Nothing.
My dice are broken.
Steve Palumbo special.
This is
10.
All right.
a spicy card
will
that he
go
was spending
second.
quite a lot of time defending last night at the bar.
Look, you sometimes have to play mental gymnastics to defend the cards
I
that
am
you love.
aware.
But regardless of whatever the cards Steve plays, he plays his deck very well.
Of course, he knows his style of deck, and he plays it well, and he gets a lot of wins with it.
Yep.
That's generally always been true. I think recently he made it to the top 4 of the league. Recently.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
And looks like Augustine has mulliganed all 4 of his Dynasty cards. Steve mulliganed the first 3, so the one on the end near his conflict deck he kept.
Okay.
It's always important to notice things like that for Scorpion. Like, if someone keeps like a middle card, it might be like Hidden Moon Dojo or Imperial Palace. Generally speaking, I'm probably keeping I'm keeping Bayushi Liar and probably pitching everything else in this matchup. Maybe Manipulator.
Yeah, I mean, Liar can sometimes. Liar's gotten a lot more awkward just with upholding authority and everything, but I mean, it still just does break Magistrate Station naturally, right? So I think I would still probably just keep it turn 1.
So
Steve
Steve mulliganed one conflict card, and it looks like Augustine is mulliganing 3. And we have Steve. I did see 2 assassinations, I think, in Steve's hand. So Palumbo, I think, kept one in his opener and drew one also with his mulligan.
Okay.
So having your assassinations early really lets you plan your game, because assassination lets you tank your honor in an impactful way.
Yeah. You're plotting out how you're going to be reducing your honor very early on, because that's just something you're going to be naturally doing anyway.
So people who aren't familiar with the strategy, basically
Augustine,
Steve
right?
is going to be a very, very passive, doing what seems like not much at all.
Sure.
And he's going to activate his Stronghold basically every turn to reduce Augustine's honor by 1. And then when Augustine gets low enough, we're going to see a bunch of backhanded compliments and dishonor effects. to
Yeah,
kind
I
of
was not
close the
super
game.
happy.
Sure.
Looks like Steve did keep an Alibi Artist as his 1 keep, and then also
you're
flipped
first.
up another one. I'm not a huge fan of turn 1 Alibi Artist.
No, I actually do tend to mulligan those away.
Yeah.
Pretty much always. Like, I just don't care about
Maybe
it.
he saw.
you know?
Maybe he thought because he had the 1 assassination,
He's gonna
take
get
an-
there.
You
Like-
take an unopposed, and then you assassinate, and you can activate it.
That's
Lose one.
true. But he didn't know he had the assassination whenever.
No, he had 1 in his opener. Oh, yeah,
And we'll also pass.
because
When you mulligan.
Oh, right, you mulligan your characters first.
Yeah, you don't
So,
see your opening hand. Yet.
He knew he was gonna do it.
He just knew.
So both players are gonna bid 5. Looks like I see a backhanded compliment, a Mark of Shame. Was that a Maze of Illusion? Please don't tell me it's a Maze of Illusion.
No.
Palumbo has been known to play that card.
All right.
So 2 Mark of Shames, 2 Assassinations. I think it might have been a Kiriko.
Pass.
Oh, Seeker of Knowledge,
Yeah.
sorry. Okay.
Seeker
and
of Knowledge
and a
makes a
Display
lot
of
of
Power.
sense.
And he's
Yeah,
a Display of Power in his hand.
And then what was Augustine's buy? Is that a
Pass.
Whisperer with 2 fate?
Looks like Whisperer 2 Fate.
That's really interesting.
I think that's aggressive.
Precon,
Just because like
direction.
Scorpion is
You're just gonna get assassinated,
yeah,
right?
like you just like it's happening. You know what I mean?
So like I think Palumbo is gonna do.
Sneak.
Oh, we get sneaked. Okay. We're gonna see Military Earth if I had to pick.
I will also pass.
Military Earth, first action, assassinate your Whisperer, probably. And that is, we do see Military Earth. We hit Midnight Rebels. To bow the Goblin Sneak. Love it. Love it.
See, what happened here is that Palumbo did not use a D6 to randomly choose which province he attacked.
Yes.
And was hard punished for it. You know, you really just should not choose which province you attack.
Yeah, so for those listening, pro tip, if you always see Gossip, and he names Assassination.
Okay.
This makes this line make a lot more sense, right?
Yeah, this is very reasonable.
Now your character is safe, and you then go into next turn with a poking character who can, if it does get assassinated, you're fine.
Yeah, I'm a little trepidatious about using a gossip this early just to save a poking character.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? Like, especially later in the game when I might be getting backhanded complimented out of the game, and I want to stop that from happening.
Exactly.
Right?
After the first one, you play it and name backhanded, right?
So this is still a very aggressive line. At least it's not insane. Right?
So we do see Augustine get got by the new mechanic that came out in Inheritance, which is Disguised.
Yes.
For those who don't know how Disguised works, specifically this character was Shoshiro Miyako, who has Disguised non-Scorpion character. So the way this works is you follow the rules on Disguised, where you choose. So in this case, you have to choose a non-Scorpion character. You pay the difference in the costs of the characters. So Steve paid 1, and then also you put that character into play ready over that character. It acquires all the fate of that character. And so we see a 1 fated Miyako, actually. Yeah, which then dishonors the Whisperer.
First action pass.
So we're going to see Whisperer run into Pilgrimage, so the Void Ring will not trigger.
So that is interesting as far as province selection. You know, Palumbo choosing to play Pilgrimage instead of Shameful Display just so he's not committed to defend in different ways, right?
Ooh, we see a counter Miyako come out from Augustine. That's aggressive then to also gossip Assassination. Maybe you're just supposed to first action Miyako.
Pass.
I just think that there's definitely a way to play the early part of this game where
without playing gossip, right?
Without playing gossip, right?
And the problem now is that Steve has found a farm.
Yes, he's found the best one.
Yeah.
Because pretty soon, I mean,
One-to-one,
Crane is just very naturally
also
going to have
pass.
large characters on the board eventually, and Steve Palumbo is still just going to have random chuds that do not have high.
Yeah, like the moment
fate.
Augustine buys any 4/4 higher cost character, the farm has been set up, right? For those who don't know what we're talking about, the term farm is basically used when you are attacking a province without the intention of breaking it, but the intention of getting rings. So you're basically you are farming ring effects.
Yeah, which for Dishonor Scorpion is very important because
you're not trying to break these provinces.
Yeah, it's a
That's not your
resource
goal.
accumulation game, right? So you're trying to disadvantage your opponent, strip them of resources, put them in position where they're forced to either bleed their own on a resource to gain cards, or you're just doing it for them. And so breaking provinces just tends to not be a huge part of that game.
The bottom numbers, I believe, represent honor, and then unbroken provinces and broken provinces.
Yes, so each player currently has 5 unbroken provinces.
And fate on.
You're on fire.
Which are interesting ones not to have been taken in the first round in this matchup.
All right, so
Palumbo commenting on the ring selection for conflicts. I wouldn't say I disagree with him.
So Iron Crane Legion makes an appearance here. We do see double keeper initiate from Steve, and Augustine has a keeper initiate too. So this air ring is going to be highly contested.
Is there a first player token somewhere?
So Iron Crane Legion is a new addition in pack 4, I believe, of the cycle. Iron Crane Legion has this awesome text that says cannot have non-weapon attachments. What that means is you actually can't marker shame Iron Crane Legion.
Sure, or cloud him.
Or cloud. Not really relevant in this matchup.
Sure.
But that actually, not being able to be marker shamed allows you to honor your Iron Crane Legion and not be at risk of taking a double dishonor.
Of course. And I think,
I'll pass.
Something I've noticed from design is that all the army cards tend to have that text where no
it's
weapons.
Very similar to Game of Thrones also.
Sure.
A lot of the army characters have no attachments except weapon or just no attachments. They definitely use no attachments more in Game of Thrones. Like there's like wolves and stuff that have no attachments. It's like, please let me just milk the poppy this ghost.
All right, so we do see Takamori coming out. Takamori used his ability to keep the, I think, alibi artist from coming in.
Interesting. Oh, right, because rebels will bow Miyako.
Yes.
Okay.
No, that's not true because Takamori's out.
Yeah. So then, why do you pick the? Why do you think you picked the I think he picked Miyaka then, right?
I thought I saw him
Okay,
point.
sure.
But I could be wrong. I mean, the angle was funny.
Because that lets you go military, right? You go military into the no military defense.
Yeah.
So Augustine needs to be really careful and cannot attack air.
Okay, one for this.
This is not a warm-up. This is round 2 of day 1A of the Winter Court. So the issue right now is you cannot attack air into Palumbo because he'll display
I feel real
and
good
get
about my
bonus.
decision.
Oh, he does have a Kairiko in hand.
One more time.
I just saw.
Completely forgot.
So he
everything
could have
but
technically
very
done it on
policy debate, court game,
on Takamori.
defend your honor, bonsai. Policy debate, court games, defend your honor, bonsai.
It's interesting that Palumbo looked at the hand, gave it back, and then asked for it back. Look, if Steve did that to me, I would have just said no. I'll be really honest. If as much as I love Steve, if he did that to me, I'm like, nope. You looked at it already. You shouldn't have given it back if you weren't done.
I will, it does warm my heart to see me Conformant being played still. It is one of my favorite Scorpion cards.
So,
if he's going to run all or nothing, I at least like he's got to be Conformant there too to make me feel better about the deck.
So a lot of people don't realize this. Not realize it, but they don't see the value. The ability to have a dash military is huge in this matchup, and a lot of matchups, especially with Defend Your Honor and like Crab and stuff.
Yeah.
Characters with dash militaries cannot be military dueled. So you cannot use Defend Your Honor, you cannot use Kakita Dojo, Duelist Training, Miyamoto Raitsugu. There's just a lot of high impact military duels going on right now, and the ability to dodge those is huge.
Yeah, and Scorpion is, it's not just me Conformant, it's Liar, it's Alibi Artist, as we see here also. So, that's one of the things that allows Scorpion to have a better matchup, is that they just have a good wealth of characters that can't be dueled.
So we see military air coming through, Miyako versus Miyako. And so we see a double bonsai.
Seeker of Knowledge.
And we see Seeker of Knowledge.
Into the conflict.
Into the conflict. Oh, we're going to see
so this is air and possibly also air.
Oh, boy, double.
So we are going to see a 4-shame here. You can't policy debate either of these characters. This is a really awkward hand for Augustine here. We can get a Defend Your Honor, though, on the 4-shame.
That's true.
And I believe he has one in his hand. I see it. And that will trigger the Kyuden Kakita to then honor Miyako. So even if you somehow don't win the 4-shame duel, you actually will become honored and can then choose Dishonor, I believe.
Yeah, because you're not making the decision.
You're not making the 4-shame decision until it
resolves.
Until it resolves.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
Well, no, the opponent does it because it needs to. You know what I mean? Like but yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since it's a point in the resolution of the card where your opponent's making a decision, it has to be resolved.
Interesting. We did see the 4-shame and we didn't see a Defend Your Honor.
And I will steal one. I'll choose to resolve the error.
He wanted the break. I think Augustine made the right decision. It's a long-term decision, right? You allow this province to break, and then you no longer have to deal with it being attacked over and over again. Although it is a really, really hard pill to swallow, as you get drained for an honor, and then you also get double keeper come out. Steve just needs to take that air.
Don't you think that there's a way that Palumbo could have done that where he didn't break? I guess not.
No, he has military favor. He was supposed to take political favor, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
no, wait. Isn't the favor on Augustine's end over there?
Steve has it right next to his keeper initiate, the Aramaro. It's the Aramaro picture.
Ah, okay.
He has the Scorpion kit favor, which is Aramaro Katsuko.
So yeah, no, in retrospect, because of that, political favor definitely would have been a lot better, just to maintain the farm, which is something that Palumbo usually thinks about.
See Augustine doing the correct way to pick provinces to attack.
Yes, rolling the dice.
Being a D4.
Upholding.
And we see Upholding Authority get rumbled on into by this Takamori.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah, you got no strength.
Yeah.
If you have no strength, you can't break.
Palumbo's not running Soul Beyond Reproach because of the splash, so there's not really a whole lot he can do here to force a break.
Yeah. So the problem right now is that you leave yourself open to another unopposed.
Well, I just don't think that there's anything he can do about that.
That's fair.
Like he's got this. He's not going to be defending with this Takamori at any point in time.
So does that signify to you maybe that Takamori was not a great buy? I mean, it didn't really do. Like, look at the Scorpion board. Like, even before the keepers, like he had conflict characters. Like, Scorpion's characters don't matter,
Pass
right? Like,
recon.
it's not like you're locking down a key character from attacking you.
Yeah, you know, I guess the other two
Let's see.
buys are just as awkward, though, right? Like
Let's-
Tashimoko is kind of awkward against Scorpion. I guess
That was a bit
would,
Takamori.
would the
Oh, yeah,
Challenger
yep,
be the
sorry.
best buy
Makes
there, or
sense.
would you just slam Tashimoko?
You could buy Iron Crane Legion.
Oh, sure, we were just talking about it because it has.
It can't be Mark of
it doesn't
Shame.
have any
You
Mark of
can
Shame.
maybe wave the crane it and then have Voice of Honor on potentially.
Yeah.
It's good with Defender Honor because it's huge. It's not like Palumbo's going to play a bunch of cards, right? Like, it's just always going to be 9, 10 military every turn, right?
No, that's true. I think maybe you're right. That.
I mean, I assume that's why you have it in your deck, right? Okay, so we see Formal Invitation come down onto Takamori to prevent the unopposed, basically.
You're at 8 honor, right?
Yes.
Put these away. They were.
Oh, sure.
Screen was confused.
Sara is just telling Palumbo to clean up his mess. Is this Magistrate Station or
No.
is
No,
this
wait.
Frostbitten Crossing? So, Keeper of Air, I do know a lot of Cranes sometimes will play Frostbitten Crossing.
Yeah. The consensus. I talked to some
will
Crane players
pass.
yesterday who were running Frostbitten Crossing, and it was. It's good in the
pass.
mirror. Seems to be the pitch.
They're not wrong.
Yeah.
They're not wrong.
I personally just like the money, but
So Shameful Display? Oh no, sorry, that's a Court Games, and then we see a Mark of Shame.
yeah,
Then you trigger.
Yeah.
I think that
So Augustine asked Steve, "Are you going to trigger it?" I also would not do that.
yeah.
I would wait for my opponent to say trigger it.
right, or it doesn't happen.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mark of Shame is a reaction. You do have to make some amount of noise, pointing, anything to signify that you are indeed reacting.
Yeah, I mean, and there is like certain levels of I don't know, rules adherence, you know, but at a world's level tournament, I think that it's reasonable
To expect my opponent to say anything signifying
Yeah.
a reaction, right?
Of course.
So it is station, it looks like. Chat is saying. And that is probably why Augustine wanted to honor his character to then be able to stand.
Yeah.
Pre-con, I'll pass.
So it looks like Steve just won the
All right.
conflict, voided Miyako, and
lose
then
one.
is going to box Augustine?
And
Can't. Or maybe he still was lower.
There's another one.
I lose one from Dishonor
Oh, they found the D20s.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
for Alibi Artist and get the trigger.
I'm going to take credit for that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So we have, looks like Steve's on 7 and Augustine
we
is
both
also
go
on
to
7.
11. We're keeping this very steady.
So yeah, I think Steve was exactly 1 below.
Awkward that he's remained at 7. He hasn't been able to use his alibi action at all.
Well,
has
he missed it last year. He actually missed it.
Did he?
Yeah, so he just said it on. He just said it. Oh no! I think what he said was it's awkward. I couldn't use it.
Yeah, because he needed to defend. Like he wasn't able to get the unopposed honor loss to pair up with the
Yeah.
assassination to go down to 6. But he did decide to
It's
keep.
Alibi Artist Day, everybody.
And he flipped 2 more Alibi Artists.
Well, he kept the other one.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. And we see City of Lies, Storehouse. I think we're gonna see the switch get flipped here.
I'm first grade. Yeah.
I think Palumbo's gonna bid low here.
Yeah, I mean, I've been really proud of Palumbo for making the mental breakthrough to bid 5 at least in the first turn.
In the first-
sometimes
Yeah.
even the second turn. But he will begin dropping
Yeah, I
it
shouldn't
pretty
get ahead of
quickly
myself.
afterwards. Like that is just the way
Trigger
he
on
plays.
her.
But
Yeah.
he
Makes
at
sense.
least learns how to build a hand first.
No more.
Why
So
did
we
they
see
put so much
Toshimoku
fade
come
on her?
down, triggers Takamori on Seeker of Knowledge.
Wait a minute. Okay.
Action to you.
I'm actually not too sure that he'll flip it right now. Because if he does, and
Sends
Augustine
off his
doesn't,
alibi artists?
then his alibi artists are
Run
just
dog.
stranded as just these idiot, two political bodies.
They have
That's
dash
it.
militaries though. That is relevant. I mean, especially with Toshimoku in play, right?
Yes.
Like,
I think I would just still bid
That,
5 one more time to
Okay.
try
Then
and
I'll-
get card
And try- and
advantage,
try and
you
get
know,
cards,
try and get these things turned on.
the problem is that like you can't. There's nothing to assassinate. You're not being presented targets. Do you even do you just assassinate your keeper initiate?
Yeah, because so I like having keeper initiates that are sometimes off kilter with each other, so that way you always have one in play, right? So I would assassinate a keeper initiate on a conflict when I'm attacking,
and
air
then
or something
activate
like that.
alibi artist.
Yeah, and then
your box is on for basically the rest of the game.
and then you get to bring the keeper initiate back whenever you win air.
2, 4,
you know,
6,
so
7, 8.
He does
here.
display of power in hand also. Yeah, okay.
No, they're stacked in 2.
I actually
All
think
right.
that might not be the wrong, because I don't think your opponent is going to present an assassinatable target anytime soon.
No, I mean you would be relying on a conflict character like
A young Harrier,
or like the 2-cost.
Fumiki.
Yeah.
I don't believe any cranes
Fade
are
on
playing her,
range
but
again.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, we're
Well, I don't know. I
Yeah,
mean, if you're playing a crane deck with Mark of
We're
Shame,
not good players.
I think a 1 or 2 of Fumiki is actually reasonable, right?
Full art, thanks to our Shogun.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently our judge isn't going to notice this stuff either.
If you haven't picked up the World Championship crane deck, I would suggest getting it. It's got a lot of staples in there, and it actually looks really cool.
It does look good. I mean,
That's useless.
the full arts, they always look
So
pretty spiffy.
currently, the cards that we're afraid of are Fate Worse Than
Oh, I'm a
Death.
moron. Okay, that's fine. It's fine that I'm
Yes,
dumb.
and I mean, Palumbo is running now. Like,
Yes.
he's not on 4G.
He's not on
He's
Media.
I think
100% on a Fate Worse Than Death, which I really like that build. Like,
I think and other Scorpions have expressed that it might not necessarily be better in the mirror.
Sure.
You have a slightly different opinion, but I don't think it's that big of a difference. I think overall, as in a tournament setting, I would rather be on Fate Worse Than Death.
right, just for the other matchups.
Yeah, even if you think it is better in the mirror, I think specifically it is better against everyone except for maybe Unicorn.
Sure.
Right? Like, there's only so many times you can Fate Worse Than Death and no fated character and feel good about it.
But you don't necessarily have a hard time turning on your non-4G to cancels.
Yeah,
right.
that's
You know,
correct.
like.
Censure and Voice of Honor are really easy.
Yeah, sometimes it is awkward as Scorpion to get Voice of Honor on
No
turn
defenders.
1, right? Which against Unicorn
First action
sometimes you need.
pass.
So I did see a Censure in Palumbo's hand. So speaking of cancels,
Yeah.
Palumbo does have an online Censure.
And is this a Tashimoko rumbling in right here? Yep, on fire.
Rumbling into the red zone, we see Political Fire. We see a rival get dropped down.
I don't see a lot of rivals get played into offensive battles that I've already initiated.
Yeah, this is Political Rival. Puts up the picket. It is a defense card.
Yeah.
We hear the crowd rumbling with the defense chants. Right? How sick would that be? Like if you had people watching this and you just hear the claps like dun
Like they
dun
sneak outside the
defense.
I mean, that is crab,
Obviously.
right?
Yeah.
And trigger can.
All right, so Goblin Seek comes into play. Palumbo does say he triggers it. There's a Yogo Asami in.
Is that a conflict
Palumbo's
card?
hand.
Isn't
No,
that part of the
I'm
crab
sorry,
pack?
not Asami. The anime one.
Your first-
Kikuyo. There we go.
Yep. Yes, Palumbo does indeed have a Yogo Kikuyo in his hand. He has a Fate Worse Than Death. He has his aforementioned All and Nothing.
Yes.
Activate.
So we see the City of Lies
All
get activated, which
specs.
will reduce the next event by 1, and we're going to see Fate Worse Than Death, I
Breaks.
think.
Yep. Displaying.
Or we see Display of
yeah.
Power.
I'm going to go ahead and honor this 2 Fate Ally artists.
Sounds good.
This card or no?
Yes, please.
I don't think I would have displayed that.
Yeah, sorry. And
I feel like I can use that
There's
display
one
more
friend.
effectively. He does take an unopposed and an alibi artist.
Yeah, I
as
know.
well.
I'm super excited.
So that was Pilgrimage, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
your first action.
that's just so weird to have to play a rival just to take out, a 5-strength province.
Oh, and
So
we see
sad.
Disguise.
Huh?
He's disguising over the rival.
Oh, sure, with Miyako.
Okay. I don't hate that then. We're going to dishonor the
Kiriko?
ally artist probably.
Oh,
we see a Kiriko.
He did have it in his hand.
An attempt was made.
You're not dishonored. You're just not honored anymore.
yeah.
Serial, it's just not hard to turn Voice of Honor off in this matchup. That like using an honored character is not it's not that hard.
I will.
Chat pointing out that Palumbo's board is tilt. Yep, you're not wrong. It is indeed tilted and also tilt.
Don't worry, this is our one obligatory Palumbo match.
No,
You won't have to see this board state again unless he makes it into the
No,
tournament.
I will say that Steve is not the only person guilty. I do think that a lot of players, there's just a lot of moving parts on the board.
For sure.
I think it is
Well,
kind of
yes.
hard to keep an organized board state for a lot of players.
Maybe if they kept the rings on the side.
Yeah,
that
the
would
rings
help.
on the side. Tyler's ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Tyler is ahead of the game. No, Palumbo did indeed use City of Life for that display of power.
Seems good.
Yeah, I think I only saw him spin one, right? Yeah.
Don't worry, Yama. Eric
At the
will
magistrate
indeed be
table.
on stream. We have no doubt about it. Our Shogun is a very strong player, and I very much expect him to be around in the later rounds. You just can't put Eric on every round, right?
Smash.
Yeah.
So Palumbo does have a calling in favors. That's the silver card in his hand. We see an Earth Ring trigger. Oh, this
Got
is a
it.
policy debate. This has kind of been a brutal game of just Crane losing every conflict, it feels like, and then slowly dying.
I mean that. So sometimes that is just how the matchup goes.
Yeah, we'll see if Augustine can kind of stabilize. Augustine does have a board, right? Like that is step one to winning the matchup. Is you need to have a board like
pre-con.
persistent.
Yeah, and
I'll run at you.
he hasn't
Political. God, I want
taken
fate,
any
but-
big
oh, well.
losses board-wise either. And
Void.
it's
At
unlikely
Magistrate Station.
luckily that Palumbo will be able to. I don't know if Palumbo's running a one of I can swim or not. I don't think so.
No defenders for sacks.
I actually would believe he would. No, he is.
He is?
If he is playing the same list
pass.
he played against Balthus
Right.
like 2 days ago,
So then there
that
would
was
be
the
one.
game where he got all or nothing into I can swim, and then Balthus lost. It was a great game to spectate, late night spectating,
Two.
and fortunately James and Steve are both here, so we can make fun of both of them.
Yes, absolutely.
This is the advantage I think of not playing is we have no responsibility to play well.
Alright, clean up.
Okay, so we see.
Does he have further action?
So Augustine has passed conflict.
and it's to
Steve's
make
gonna
you lose
box.
You have more than me. Or, sorry, it's
I'm
the
at
other way
6,
around.
you're at
Yeah,
7.
yeah,
Yep. So 7 to 6, both
can't
at
count.
6 now.
Counting is overrated.
Counting is hard.
And it looks like Palumbo's going to win favor again with double keeper initiate standing. Very easily win favor. Keeps the center online.
Did they drop bids? I
No,
forgot
they both
to
bid 5.
They both bid 5.
Yeah, both bid 5.
12, you up to 7.
I think now that you're on, so what you can do here is you can buy your other alibi artist.
Yeah, and then use them
You use them in Dynasty and then bid 1.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. I think I would assume that that's probably the route that he will take.
I would discard City of Lies also. I know Steve is not going to, but I don't like keeping it for multiple turns.
I mean, you got its activation.
Exactly.
Right?
It saved you a money already.
Yeah,
like don't be greedy.
I think he'll keep it just because he still has Fate Worse than
After
Death
the
in his
faded.
hand.
Yeah, I just like seeing new cards. Maybe
Shut up.
that's my other clan.
I would
sense.
so like this alibi artist that has stuck around for literally the entire game.
You would've
at the
pitched a
same
while ago?
province. No, every card that is not Hidden Moon Dojo gets pitched.
Yeah, basically.
Like 100%.
that is the truth. Hidden Moon Dojo is just that powerful.
Yeah.
We do see favored niece, and
Yeah.
we see another alibi artist. I think we're just gonna see the alibi artist get bought.
Yep.
Oh,
no,
really?
she's just.
With
That's a. Now that seems aggressive to me. But I don't know how much
by
fate
this
he
elevator
has.
with a fate.
Steve is not first player.
And then I will pass.
So Augustine gave up passing fate there. Really awkward. So you have to do that. But also Palumbo is not going to draw. I'm really confused.
2.
Okay, so Augustine actually plays into it, and we see a 2-1.
Yeah.
For now.
So
Yeah, first
Steve is
action,
now at
first
500. Boxes Augustine back down,
I mean, we have to do the steps.
and
Yep.
we're gonna
after
see
you.
double alibi artist
Alibi
activation
artist.
plus favorite niece. So Palumbo's gonna be able to look at what 2, 4, 6 cards. That's
Yes.
so many cards.
Oh, Alibardus.
I have a feeling that Augustine might die this turn.
Maybe. Gee, I kind of wonder if he'll pitch the all and nothing to favored.
No, he
niece.
can't. He can't. He knows we're watching, and if he does, we'll make fun of
Don't
him
need-
for it endlessly. Like, yeah, see, assassination. Like it's just pride on line here. Absolutely cannot.
Yeah. I actually would have kept the assassination, honestly.
Oh, I
because
think he's
that's-
gonna pitch. No, he has another one. He has 2.
Oh, okay.
And I will
He's
need
gonna pitch. Yeah, he pitches Yogo Kikuyo. He's looking for backhanded compliments there. I don't believe he picked one up in his
Not
8
only-
cards that he saw.
Nope, we see another Meek informant. 2
Strong
Meek
for
informants.
Whole bunch of stuff you can't use on Alibardus.
Yeah, feels bad.
Feels bad.
So Augustine's hand is just not very good.
I don't know
Yeah.
where the camera point.
So Palumbo cheesing for the
Alright.
camera a little bit and letting us see how terrible Augustine's
Alright.
hand is. With 2 calling in favors, a duelist training, a
Grant
duel to
advice.
the death.
If I try to steal formal invitation,
And,
you get it right back.
Yeah, but
and then you'd be dishonored and you'd be sad. Yeah, that would work out for me, I guess.
Pretty bad trade.
Yeah, I'd take
Talking
it.
about
All
stealing,
right, so let's see what
stealing.
we got here.
Oh, and defend your honors
Key
last
to
card.
dojo.
Yeah, literally all cards cannot be used on dash militaries. Man, Meek
Still
Informant.
technically in
His
the
hand
top
is
10.
dead.
Peasants.
You're actually. I'll
You also
pass
cannot trigger Toshimoku duel
Pre-con.
either.
Yeah.
See if passing is correct.
Yeah. Ronan in chat pointing out good on Augustine
I
for being a great, being a good sport about his coming
I will
dishonorable
add to
demise. I mean,
political-
at this point in the game, like
I will leave one
you're
guy.
playing a game, you just have fun with it. You know your dad, like you're.
Yeah, no,
Four,
if any
five,
point in
six,
time I'm playing
seven,
against Palumbo and I know I'm
two,
dead, I'm just going to spend the next
whatever,
15 minutes
three.
trolling him in the game. You know? We're going to play this out, but I'm going to take it as fun for me as humanly possible.
Yeah.
There, doesn't actually
So we see political air come through here with, I presume, some amount of dash militaries.
This alibi artist and this Meek Informant.
Okay. So we see an alibi artist and a Meek Informant rumble on in.
Not the very cards,
Manchester
right?
Station.
Okay.
So this threatens the break and also threatens to win the ring. Steve has Fate Worse Than Death in his hand.
So
He
many.
just has everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
He doesn't have backhand comments, right? He only has one backhand. That's literally all his cards missing.
Sure, but he's got everything he needs to win every combat.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean?
I'm
Like
just
the
saying,
entire turn belongs to Steve right now.
Yeah, like he wrote to Santa and Santa gave him 90% of what he wanted,
Yeah,
so
right.
you can't really complain.
Because like he'll get this air here,
He'll
and
get
so
both his keeper initiates back.
yeah, he will then be able to attack air once again, right, with Seeker of Knowledge. Or I guess, do you even throw a military at your opponent?
I don't think so, right? Because all these
These two
military stuff, right?
here.
You might do a poke, right, to get Fate Offering.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think
fighting.
it's still worth it to like
Moving for
send the
5
Seeker
to my
Initiate at him,
flank.
like military, right? You get the
First
Fate, he
action.
jumps in the way of something.
With the Secret Initiate's probably just going to get dueled to the death.
Yeah, oh, Seeker of Knowledge, yeah.
Well, I
So-
guess you can dishonor yourself. Because you have military favor. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think you just run in with some stuff because Palumbo has the favor, right?
Yeah.
So he still has Censure up, so he can
5
cancel
to
a Defend
3,
Your Honor. So I mean,
Wait,
even
so-
if they get into a point where Defend Your Honor can be played, it still can be countered by Palumbo.
So we see a Way of the Scorpion onto
3
Toshimoku,
to 3, I'm
who
winning.
defended with the Kala Delegate.
I will.
We're gonna see. We can't see
Also
Kikita
pass.
Dojo. And Steve just wins the air ring.
Welcome back,
Right, so
boys.
it's one,
You did it.
1, 2, 3 to 3.
And I'll steal one.
Yeah. Augustine's hand doesn't do anything.
That's the point. Like,
So like Steve knows Way of the Scorpion just does, Yeah, I think you're right. I think you just rumble on in with the Seeker of Knowledge.
yeah, you just want to get your
If you
multiple
get,
air
the only card that
activations to kill
can
them.
affect you in combat is Duel to the Death, and you can just dishonor yourself to refuse the duel.
Exactly.
And then you can do any number of horrible things to this Miyako.
Yes.
Oh, we could see Military Void,
Got that. Dojo.
and we could Fate Worse Than Death this
Turn
Miyako,
off a
and
person.
then we could see All or Nothing.
You care particularly?
I might. I don't know. I could care. I could see myself caring.
I respect
You know, policy
Augustine
debates,
for
I
not
don't care about
conceding,
that.
because I would have.
By now.
After my opponent saw my hand that doesn't do
So I
anything,
could threat
I
you
would have
with more
conceded.
force than you can muster.
And I don't even say this lightly. I think people don't value the ability to recharge your
Here, you
brain.
can come.
Sure.
Go grab something to eat, grab maybe a drink. Just shrug off the loss,
2, 3,
right? Like
4.
you know your dad. Like these players have played the game long enough to know
5.
what position they're in, and so
it'll
the
be
ability to like
4.
have like a food round.
It's just tough, right? Because it's Worlds, and it's like, so I'm 98% dead. You know,
Yeah, the
you're
problem
saying
is that
there's
like
a
you're in
chain.
round 2, right? Like this isn't the last round
does
you're gonna
that
play.
matter?
You just gotta recharge. You gotta make 42 points as the cut. Like
Yeah, I'm gonna go
just,
water 'cause
Just
it's got
take
the money
take the
and-
mental game.
Are there challenger ins?
Yes. So the cut off for each day one is 42
everyone
points,
except
which is
for
different than 4 and
the
2.
people who
You
can't
need to have
go
2 real losses
and that
and
keeper.
4 real wins. Because any modifieds puts you out of 42 points.
Right.
Then it will be the top of clan that same thing as challenger system.
Sure.
Top of clan that didn't make the cut naturally will
5.
then challenge it.
Alright,
So if there's anyone with a modified of a clan that has modified win, there won't be a 3 and 3 that makes it.
Correct.
But if there isn't any modified
There will be
wins, then there will
the
be
top 3 threes will make it.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Be a big old bully.
Or a modified loss. Modified loss puts you to 41 points.
Right, basically no modified
Anything,
resolutions. Yeah.
Cannot trigger its ability.
Chat saying if people value their time that much, they would be playing Unicorn.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's
Look,
get
sometimes you gotta play burn. So we're gonna see a duel here.
1.
One. Trigger box for the
time is good.
Seems good.
So we do see the
bother.
stronghold get activated for the first time,
Yeah.
and we see a mark of shame. Interesting that you mark of shame instead of voice, or not voice, instead of fate worse than death. You know your opponent doesn't have voice. You know your opponent
My
can
five, so
defend
I'm
your honor
letting
and
him
use
break
censure,
it.
right?
Yeah. Unless he doesn't have censure in his. No, he does.
No, he absolutely does.
Yeah.
He literally just flashed into the camera.
I-
Because right, like you could just use your City of Lies, and this gives you an unopposed. You want water? Interesting enough. Oh, it's because it's Seeker of Knowledge. Dang, didn't go for the void. Didn't go for a stall.
Yeah, no, he could have still attacked Void, right? You know, with the Seeker of Knowledge, and then he would have still been able to play all or nothing, and then just
Yes.
switch around to air anyway to be a
No
jackass.
resolve.
And we do see a break here, I believe, on Magistrate Station. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, sorry, it's 4 to 2. Doesn't even break.
See,
I'm bad at this game. Oh well.
I'm enjoying Steve's commentary right now.
Oh, he does break. Oh, military favor.
yeah,
Military
yeah.
favor puts him to 5. Okay.
Yeah, get out
Discard
of
the
here.
face on card.
Whisper.
Generally speaking, I would not discard face on cards against keeper clans. That could have been the third keeper initiate.
Yeah.
Bypass.
Minor edges here. You know,
Passive conflict.
that, you know, for
Clean
those
up.
watching, you know, that want
Favor.
to take these minor
Still
edges,
Okay.
that's definitely how you up
I'm
your
gonna
game
leave
at
it on
a certain- to a
military.
certain level.
So, did
This meat goes
Palumbo?
away, as does the Seeker of Knowledge.
I don't think Palumbo missed lethal here, but he could have got him to 1, right? If you fate worse than death the
did so much
Miyako,
work, Secret
so the
Knowledge.
Miyako's going to be leaving play dishonored. Plus he took an plus.
No,
he
it
would
would be
take
leaving play
unopposed.
neutral because it got honored by a box.
Oh, okay.
5, 6, 7.
All right, so
Yeah.
he would only get him down to.
Well, he would have had lethal if the character was dishonored.
Right, just
Because
has
it's
to go.
unopposed, so he's at 3, right? Oh, he's at 4.
Yeah.
Unopposed,
much fate.
dishonor. If he has 2
That's
backhanded compliments, he'll kill.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't need that extra
But
faith.
currently,
You can just
Steve is having trouble getting to his backhanded compliments.
Well, he has favored these, so.
I mean, he has the ability to once
He-
again
he's-
dig
I,
6
I
cards.
believe I believe this upcoming turn will be the last turn of the game.
Yeah.
And first
Augustine's
player
hand
to
still does not do
yeah.
anything,
Unfortunate.
and is also only going to see 1 fresh card.
Hey, a liar.
Oh.
This is also where I would concede
Sure,
the game.
why not?
I mean, you need to save more faith.
What?
So we see Hidden Moon Dojo pop up.
Yeah,
it is
I
only
got
on the
a-
end
I got
though.
like 2
Sure,
free
sure.
fate this turn.
But
why
we
not?
see Steve pass because he has only holdings. And we see our main man, the handsomest man in all of Rokugan,
I'll just
Doji
put, like, 4 feet
Kwanin.
on the liar
So,
if I
you know,
don't-
Kwanin was never really my favorite character lore-wise in the old game, but I dig his card. Like, I really like his card in New L5R, and I do like that he's kind of a putz. Like,
I'll pass.
he in the story, like, he failed to secure Satori. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
like, Hitomi, like, beat him off.
Yeah, indeed.
So, you know, I think that...
I guess.
I don't think that the Kwanin's going to help him in this situation. I mean, Augustine is unfortunately dead.
So I am Team Hotaru in the story, but unfortunately in the game, Kwanin's card is actually just better.
Yeah, it's
so
so
you do have to play Kwanin,
Yeah.
even if you're Team Hotaru. Also, I remember some of the people in the chat I'm recognizing. I know there's a big
Oh,
contingent
God,
watching
wow.
from Chile actually.
Oh, yeah?
So shout out to those
so I
guys.
resolved air and
for
water,
watching.
so everything else have a fate.
We have a lot of people around the globe. Like, you know, we have people from Brazil. I think
Including
Aztern
Void.
is either in Brazil or the Chile group. We have Merholt in Texas.
Yep.
You know,
Alright.
the great country of Texas. We have Bit Metal from Ohio, New York. You know, Ronan is watching from New York. Yep, Brazil.
I will
So
also
huge, you know, global community. I'm super happy to be able to bring content to these guys.
Yeah.
Does Seattle count as around the globe? I mean, yeah, Seattle's really far away from where we are, so.
That's one of the things I'm jealous of the Vancouver meta for. You know, they're just it's just a lot of people playing in person.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to sometimes it's hard to build those communities. So
Yeah,
events
we
like
got
this-
Belgium, for sure. Manitoba, yeah, there we go. Czech. Yeah, I didn't know we had people watching from the Czech Republic. That's sweet.
Holla.
So we're gonna see an attack here come out from Augustine,
cards
being first
matter.
player. Military fire
No.
with
You
I
figured it
presume
out.
Kwanin?
Okay, so who's coming?
Oh, okay.
Both of them. All right. All right. First action, I'm going to go ahead and buy the liar.
Yep.
Then gonna flip over his card with Hidden Moon Dojo because it definitely needed to have half of the staging ground.
They matter even less than they mattered less before.
I get to see whatever that new card is you just drew. I'm very excited about it.
Oh, it's upholding authority. Yeah.
So Hidden Moon Dojo, I still keep it on my opening flop, even if it's on the end.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
remember
like
use
sure,
my
it's
knees
not
to
as
put it
good,
underneath.
but
It's still good.
But it's still good. You
It
know?
also lets you churn
I
churn
will-
through your dynasty deck more, right?
Sure.
To your one drops to draw your cards.
I'm gonna flip it.
Okay.
Is that the duelist?
Yeah, that's the two
I'm
cost
buying you.
duelist.
It's something Challenger. I think
and then I
Royal Challenger is the
will-
Scorpion one.
Sure.
Pass.
It has the duel ability that you initiate a
breaks.
political duel and the winner,
First
the
one.
loser is blanked.
Trigger.
Yeah, it's
And
a,
then-
it's a cloud, right?
Yeah, and then if you win, if it wins a conflict, you
Yeah,
gain an
I've
honor, and
thrown
if it
two
loses a
marks
conflict,
at
you
you.
lose an honor.
With the cards and the.
Look, it's a 1/3 courtier.
yeah.
So that's what I know. It's got
Well,
this-
and that's interesting that he's playing that in that slot. Just last night, I felt like he was talking to me about playing Shadow Shaper. Or not the
Oh,
no,
the
Illusionist.
Shigenshus that
Not-
bounces things?
No, not Shadow Shaper. Illusionist. Just normal Soshi Illusionist.
Oh, sure.
right?
It's really funny how far
right.
Mark of Shame is spoiled Scorpions
Let's see,
so
I could
much that
take
they're
all
not playing
three
one of
of
their
these
best
calling
cards.
in favors. Or I could take the one duelist training and then make
So
all
it
the
looks
calling
like
in favors
Augustine
useless.
drew with
I
the
don't know.
third calling in favors as his one card. Really, really feel for him.
Yeah,
I
that's.
think we'll just share it to defend your honor.
And then we see Palumbo just like ignore them and discard one card instead of three. I think I would have just discarded all the calling in favors just for like posterity.
Right, the lulz.
Yeah, just let them know that I this is a value stream.
Yeah.
I will Alvarez.
Augustine may just be waiting for the concede step in the turn.
Well, fortunately,
Alvarez.
you are allowed to do that at any point. You can press the button at any time.
I'm pretty sure conceding is a conflict action only.
Challenge action only, yeah. That's one thing I actually liked a lot
Oh,
in
activate?
Thrones, since I've been
that
playing
makes
Thrones.
sense.
The
Sorry,
ability
City of Lights
to
was your
have
last
different
word.
actions,
I got a little.
marshalling action,
I
challenge
got a
action.
little kerfuffled.
Someone's asking if Palumbo just
We
uses
will
this
get
box at
some-
7.
this
I
sneak
only
is gonna
see
get some
6 on there.
advice
He's
on
got
the
a big
peasants on
token
what's
that's
here.
5 and then a small token
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
1.
yeah.
right?
Alby Artis he's only a 6.
Close there. Shuffle Kikita Dojo into your deck.
And then we do see
Get
Peasants
out of
Advice
here,
shuffling in
free duel.
Kikita Dojo. I feel like this is a little bit much.
Yeah, just win the game.
I guess now he doesn't run into Shameful. You might as well take these steps, right? Like,
Dishonor.
if you have
Yeah,
like
thank
7,
you.
12. You don't want to be that person who
Oh.
somehow loses this game, right?
Sure.
As improbable as it is, if you ever lost this game, you would never live it down. So like, I respect his stance of I don't want to be the goober who threw away an unlosable position, right?
Sure. Not that we've ever seen that before on
Correct.
stream.
Never.
It's having a calling in favor war.
He does have 2 backhanded compliments in his hand.
Or I am well equipped.
Away of the Scorpion.
Yeah.
Is he really calling in favors?
Really hard.
Yeah, but are yours like this fancy?
Oh, I
I'm
feel like
gonna
this is
steal
just,
it
I feel like this is
undo.
just like
They're just playing.
the game.
This
right?
Alabama just wants to do it.
Absolutely.
So we see calling in favors on duelist training, I believe.
a completely necessary calling in favors for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Action you. I will.
Oh, right. Serial points out it's really tough to unseat the Way of the Crab 3-Fate Sukune. Do you remember that from the first Worlds?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I do.
That person, unfortunately, will never live that down.
So
Buy
they
this
live.
by
I
Yoshi
met that
Collector.
person.
Oh, okay,
in,
cool.
in IRL.
collect that
He
formal
was
info.
at a game shop in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Sure.
Yeah, and I was just like, we were talking about Worlds. He was like, "Yeah, I was at Worlds." Blah blah blah
And
blah.
then
blah. And I was
run
like,
at
"You're the
you
guy."
political.
Oh, that's so tough.
Boy.
You're that person.
Yeah.
It's what I presume people who like get their pictures put into memes.
Sure.
What
I
am I
mean,
doing?
you know,
Any
what's
feet?
interesting about
I'm
that
trying to put
Worlds,
a
I
dishonor
saw a
token
lot
in
of.
my
It wasn't just that guy who got beat.
political
Oh,
right?
no,
like
no.
Jesse
Like,
Alvarez.
he just did it on camera, right?
We'll
That
go
was
ahead
his
and
misfortune
like-
of being on
play
camera
like
when it happened.
Like in a
Nothing can
non-camera
happen
game, I mean, I
with
did see
Shameful.
Palumbo get like a 2-Fate Shoju Way of the Crab.
Oh,
at
yeah,
some
yeah.
point
yeah.
in time,
People, people
like,
just got crabbed left and right at that tournament.
yeah.
People were choosing to go first purposefully.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We had people like buying. Everyone was playing 3 assassinations. Like people, it was a weird time.
I like to say that I was ahead of the meta on choosing to go first.
Yeah, I mean, it just took a year and a half later.
Right, but I was vindicated in the end.
I
true.
lost the pass.
So we do see a.
I will play all and nothing.
I'm so angry. I'm so angry right now because
Draw
I know
card.
Palumbo did this on purpose just
Yes.
to show us that he had this card that he also could have done by playing the airing.
I'm
Right.
gonna
No,
gonna
everything
go
that's
ahead
happening
and
right now is
resolve
100%
air.
unnecessary.
I love it though.
Yeah.
One front
So
defender.
he resolves the airing, and then we're gonna see backhand and combo.
Okay.
Backhand and combo.
Yeah.
I already drew my.
Okay.
Action you.
Pass. Backhand.
Backhanded. You might draw a voice. You don't know. And then backhanded.
Okay.
All right.
Sir, good game.
All right.
Well, geez.
So, that game kind of devolved into a little bit of just having some fun at the end. But
Yeah.
throughout the beginning of the game, we did kind of see Scorpion enact its game plan, and Augustine was really never able to get rolling.
Yeah, they.
Yeah, it's really weird. When you don't have a strong conflict hand
against
against Scorpion, sometimes you can just be
constantly.
dead,
I'm
even
like,
with
no, it's
having
a great
powerful
card.
Dynasty characters
Characters.
in play, right?
Scorpion is so good at neutralizing your character, right? That is their strength.
I do think that Augustine could have made a better buy on the Takamori turn when he bought
80 million
Takamori instead of
Alabama.
Maybe the Iron
instead of
Legion.
Iron Crane. I think that the Iron Crane Legion just presents such a big military
You saw
stat
no
that's so
Crane,
hard
you
for.
saw no
It
SPR.
basically has to be fate.
But it didn't
Yeah,
matter
like
'cause you
like
didn't
that's
see
the
Voice of
answer,
Honor.
right? So now you're forcing him to play those types
Where,
of.
where's,
No,
where's
the card is
Crane
all
part
or
of your
nothing,
deck?
and it should never be played.
I don't understand what just happened.
So just in terms, I of this matchup, it is kind of interesting that it got so lopsided by the end. I do consider KOA Crane to have a better matchup than SOV.
I think his splash might not help him that much. Having calling in favors as your splash is so awkward. Because like at least let go, you can let go Mark of Shames. Like I'll let go Mark of Shame because it for some reason gives -1 Paul. Right. And so
But
like
you never got your honor tools.
calling in favors is not only a dead card, but it's also a dead card that you can't even like use for very minuscule value.
Sure, and depending on what you're, so I have seen some other KOA Crane decks that are running like Guest of Honor instead as its restricted card. I think having calling in favors to protect your guest from Cloud
You have
at that
to, right?
point in time.
But he was playing policy debate. So.
Right, so I think you probably could have just run 2 maybe calling and
Yeah.
just had a few less dead cards.
I think the problem with this matchup is that you get yourself in a position where you don't see as many cards as Scorpion does.
Sure.
And so Scorpion gets to dictate the tempo of the game, and if you, it's on you to have better variance, right?
Yeah, and
unfortunately, Augustine fell on the wrong side of variance in a bad matchup,
yeah,
right?
he drew the wrong half of his deck, right? We didn't see any Soul Beyond Reproaches; those would have been helpful.
Yeah, exactly. Way of the Crane, like Way of the Crane. Yeah. Like you said, he only activated his Stronghold once.
Yeah,
and that is what the deck is predicated upon is getting consistent value out of your Stronghold, right?
Sure, and building just giant honored bodies. So we're going to go ahead and take another break as we wait for the third round. We'll be back in 25 minutes. Thank you so much for joining us. We love having so many international players watching us here.
Yeah,
That's
and
pretty
playing.
great.
Honestly,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
super happy that the international community also made the trek over.
For some odd reason, players or FFG game players, right, tend to internationally travel. Right. We always see a pretty sizable international contingent for AGOT Worlds as well.
Absolutely.
So. Good on FFG for being able to
Well,
reach
the Europeans want to come to
tournaments.
those tournaments because they always win. So we're really hoping that this year we can get a U.S. champion. I think Kevin actually has a bounty out for that.
Oh, okay. That's another one
the
of the bounties.
Bonkamoto.
Oh, yes.
Whatever U.S. player defeats the most Hatamotos will get a prize, and then if there is a U.S. Shogun, he will also get a prize.
Mess with the honk, get the bonk.
I
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks, friends. We'll be back in 25.
I'm on there. I'm